Hello and welcome everyone to day 5 of bLU Talk's Amplify Your Message. I am your host, Laura Lake, and this is bLU Talks, which bLU, for those who don't know, stands for business, life, and the universe. I know it's backwards, but this doesn't work. But since we're here celebrating speakers, authors, podcasters, look, oh my God, that's me. I'm so excited. That's my very first book, all because of bLU Talk. So we are here for you, those people who are aspiring to be speakers, aspiring to be writers, aspiring to be on podcasts, or even create your own. Or maybe you've already started. So we're celebrating you. We're trying to help you get to know people, learn how to amplify your message, and apparently burp a few times before we even start the show. But for those who've never met me, my name is Laura Lake. I am the host of bLU Talk's Amplify Your Message. And what I stand for is courageous connection. Now, in business, what we like to talk about is getting people to know us, like us, and trust us. But how does that feel when I go, get to know me, get to like me, get to trust me? Me. That doesn't feel very good, does it? So when we're sharing our stories, I try to help people understand that that's not our job. It starts from the inside out, and it starts with that old version of us that went through that struggle, hence Mess to Message Entrepreneurs. And now we're sharing that message with other people with everything that we've learned. So getting to know, like, and trust them, and then inside out. So that's what I stand for. And you'll see that kind of blended in with all my questions as we talk about emotion and mental health throughout the day. Dr. Angeline, can you tell us, as my co-host, my lovely, lovely co-host, a little bit about you so that we know where you are coming from with your questions today?
Absolutely, Laura. First of all, thank you for the invitation. I was like, what? Absolutely, I'll be here with Laura. And special shout out to bLU Talks and Corey and the gang. So I'm super excited to be here today. I am Dr. Angeline Dean. I'm an unapologetic systems disruptor. And I'm super excited, Laura, because I am about to launch. Then the last time we talked a little bit about some work I was doing with some of the youth around a project or pilot project called Melanated Neurons. And so I am so super excited because I am about to launch Unboxing History, unboxing culture, and unboxing power. And so I am launching this upcoming week, a box subscription where, as we see that history and certain people's history right now in the United States is under attack. How do I help young people ages 7 through 12 get in contact and never forget their history, right? Because Black history isn't Black history, it is American history. And so we're going to be launching Melanated Neurons Communiverse, because they're going to have their own communiverse and their own be up under a communiversity. So I'm super excited.
I love the word.
That's my latest. Yeah. So that's who I am right now in this stage. Yes.
And it's Angeline, not Angeline.
Correct.
Okay, so I was like, you could have corrected me, but you didn't. So I'm going to try to remember. And if I forget, you correct me.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Right. Absolutely.
I want to make sure that you are named the way that you want to be named. So we do have our first guest behind the scenes. Dr. Gary, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. Awesome. Welcome to the stage. So now I want to call you like Mr. Rainbow. Can you hear us, Dr. Gary?
I hear you now.
You do. Okay, good. So I'm going to start off our interview by shifting things around, flipping things on its head, and asking you my big opener question. It's just meant to think. There's no right or wrong answer. It's all good. So, Dr. Gary, if you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Inspiring, playful, transformational.
Playful, transformational. Okay, so then the only other question is, how do these 3 words, inspiring, playful, and transformational. How do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
It's very similar to what I heard you just speaking about pre-show, Laura. That is, it's an inside job. By practicing each day, I live in the top of a mountain in a permaculture community, 550 meters above sea level, with waterfalls and creeks and streams and kangaroos all around. When I practice these three key words, nurturing, inspiring, empowering each day, which is another version of what you asked me, I get into the zone. When I get into the zone, that's when my intuition knows no tomorrow. It sings and flings with wings without me having to think about things.
Ah. I like that you said your intuition knows no tomorrow. I never even thought about that before. Where did that come from?
I don't know. It just came out.
You're like, all the magic that is in my brain.
When I get into the zone, words waft whimsically without worrying why. I like playing with words. I love being acrobatic. All my life I've been a champion springboard diver, gymnast, track star. So now I'll be 74 in a couple of months. That my body's not doing what the body could do years and decades ago. I love doing this with words, turning words into rhyme, turning rhyme into rhythm, and bring people to places they've never been able to go before with their body as the chief instrument of communication. That's my message.
So now you're doing gymnastics with your energy and your words.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. It's a bit more subtle. I mean, I'm still doing acrobatics, swimming in waterfalls, sounding, yet I'm not leaping off high places and puncturing eardrums and slicing parts of my body. It's a bit more advanced. So the inner tonality specifically of I, those gestures, those sounds have meaning. One of my key messages when I do the presentation coaching, whether it's showing how to navigate the online stage or the actual physical platform, these tonalities have to do with honoring spaciousness, uplift, empowerment, grounding. So every movement, every verbal word matches every visual gesture, every vocal sound. Visual, vocal, verbal. That's one of the key messages of my teaching. When they're aligned, VVV, then everything literally makes more sense.
Okay, I just want to recap that to make sure that I got the words right. Visual, vocal, and verbal?
Correct. Yeah.
So how do vocal, like, what's the difference between vocal and verbal?
Yeah, okay. So verbal are the words that we see on the screen, the names of who we see ourselves in our titles. It's the wording. The vocal is the sound in the voice, the use of pause, the way that the amplitude goes up and down, going up for questioning, going down for emphasis. And visual is you seeing me showing what I'm telling. When I put all three together, the most ordinary of communications can be the most magnificent moment for someone. Listening, seeing, feeling, experiencing the speaker coming alive, the message coming alive, the body making pictures, showing the telling so the telling becomes compelling, welling, and swelling. Not necessarily in that order.
Okay. So is that why you mentioned that you were, what was the word that you used? You didn't say watching. I think you said observing me right before we went on the show.
Watching, observing, witnessing. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. That's right. When we get into the zone as a speaker, as a presenter, anyone who has a message, one of my key messages to assist fellow presenters, performers, speakers, share your voice, your message, your wisdom with the world as you dream possible. When we have that as a focus, then so much more can happen than just delivering information. It becomes an engaging opportunity for intimacy and into we see to play with the elements that most people take so freaking seriously. And oh my God, if we can do it with lightness, it's much easier to remember. That's one of my key points, that there is a velocity to ridiculosity. So getting out of, I won't call it the comfort zone because it's not really a comfort zone, the familiar zone into one that has never been explored before. Suddenly one's vulnerability becomes one's strength. Suddenly one's imperfection becomes one's perfection. So instead of looking good, it's allowing all of the warts, the mistakes, the falling down, the breaking up, the sitting up, the breakdown, the breakthrough to show. And that is riveting. That's why I love to model that and share that, we all are that way before we start putting on layers and masks, like you mentioned earlier.
It sounds like you were listening to almost every interview that we have done this week, because it kept coming up so many times about teachers and how they can influence you, and when we were kids. And the first thing that I was thinking when you were talking about tonality and melody and vocal and verbal was, how many times have we had that teacher who was monotone, and we're all sitting there going, ugh, it's so hard to learn from you. Or when we're learning to read as kids, and you're learning, okay, so you're learning, and you have the one kid who is in it and they are playing with it and they're having fun like the character, and then the other kids who are just trying to get through the words.
It's so true. I remember when I was in Johns Hopkins University, a combined pre-med and psychology major, and I was in a sexuality class, which was scientific sexuality. It wasn't anything physical at all. And this was so bizarre, like yourself, I had this ability. So when I saw the person talk about chromosomes, this and that, two things happened. One, when I moved my body to make shapes while they were speaking, it's good I was in the back row because I wasn't trying to make fun. It made more sense. I was multi-sensorizing their verbal, vocal, visual information. So it made more sense in my senses. And then by perceiving them, what I remembered about the biology, the sexuality class, wasn't about chromosomes. It was about their relationship with their mother, their voice tone, who they were upset with, the conversations that were in their brain. My whole work is to transform the old self-talk over here to one that is riveting. I am inspiring, I am playful, I am transformational, but it's not enough to say the words with sounds, to do it with gestures that match. Now we have a fascinating speaker to listen to, and you don't forget the points.
Yep.
You remember it.
So I was teaching a class last month, and okay, so one of the things that I do to help me understand my own emotions is power vocals. Because when I was a kid, I didn't have habits, but I just needed to get the emotion out. So I would sing songs with that same emotion. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. But you're helping explain with what you were saying earlier about the tones and all the noises and the vibrations within our body to help kinesthetically learn what is going on. And you would have made it so much easier to write that talk than for me to have to figure out what was going on and then try to teach what was going on to other people.
Well, exactly. When I do the presentation coaching, which a lot of it's on stage these days, either the online stage or in front of audiences, some one-on-one sessions as well. One of the key things that I do is exactly that. Have you take your gestures and exaggerate them, or do the opposite and feel what is in that space in between where there's a feeling of a nuance that you couldn't prepare. But when you can, let's say, for example, using the same words, inspiring, playful, transformational, if that were someone's 3 key words, because I always encourage speakers to find 3 key words, then let's play with it. Let's gibberish it. I'm William. I didn't use words, but you got what I was saying because I've been repeating it over and over in different ways. So my way of helping a speaker speak is do it in nonsense, do it in reverse, do it in singing, and then speak it. And you're so much freer because you've got out of you have to present words. It just breaks people up to be laughing at their most extreme, wild, ridiculous, stiff, stubborn story. I had to turn it into this ridiculous Monty Python ritual. It takes about 5 seconds for them to let go. It's too silly. I can't do that. And then suddenly the sincerity comes out.
Oh, maybe that's what we should get everybody to do is like the silly walk, but with their vocals.
Absolutely. Yeah. Get it out of your system. And then what's left is the true essence. That's right. With freedom instead of self-consciousness to fully express, whether it's silly walks, silly talks. It's not just silly, but there's silly. There's doing it in mime with no sound. There's singing it. I'm inspiring, I'm playful, I'm transformational. That each one has a nuance, something that is fresh. That then when the speaker speaks from that zone, the whole presentation has so much freedom, fluidity. Say these words after me. The more I trust.
The more I trust.
What I deeply know.
But I deeply know.
The more my thoughts.
The more my thoughts.
My words.
My words.
And my actions.
And my
actions.
Fully, freely flow.
Fully,
freely flow.
Hip, hip, hurrah!
Hip, hip, hurrah!
Row, row, row. Your life is what we deem. So, make it into something silly. You're not going to forget that now. Now it's cemented in the muscle memory.
So this is fascinating for me, Dr. Gary, because I just the last 2 days was on watching another event on how the body keeps score and how we keep everything internally. And so when you first started talking, that was the word that came to me, freedom. And then when you said masking, like a lot of my work is unmasking as well. And so I was thinking of this not only from how fascinating it could be used in the arts, right, as a part of learning for young students in the arts, but also when you talked about the multisensory learning and do you use this with trauma patients and healing in some?
I use it all the time. If we can turn something into a new story, there's something absolutely elegant and indelible that happens. So one example is there's a man I was coaching on stage. He happened to be a 5-rhythms movement expression dance teacher from New York City. I met him in Hawaii at a one dance tribe week of dance and movement specialists. I was one of the people invited. He was in my workshop, and during the break, he told me that he gets, I was exaggerating his lines. He sometimes stutters or forgets what he's going to say. So there he is in front of everyone in my class from all over the world, all these dance specialists all over the world. And he confesses what his trauma was about. He said, look, I was brought up in New York City, and so was I. And I was bullied, he said, all throughout my adolescence, so much so, and this is what happened to him. Again, I'm going to exaggerate it. When I stand in front of people, I feel like I'm going to be attacked. And he started crying, waterfall of tears. Out comes the trauma, because he was honoring it. He was admitting it. He wasn't hiding behind it. He wasn't trying to look good. He was saying what it was that held him back. And one after another, one person from the audience came up, hugged him, told him in front of witnesses, you are the kind of teacher that I would trust working with because you're sharing your vulnerability. You're sharing where you've broken down. You're the person that I want to learn dance movements with and to hear about getting into the psyches. I trust you. Your vulnerability is your strength. And finally, he finished that little sequence with the new self-talk of, I love being seen. I love being heard. And you could see it was a key. I had him sing it, shout it, whisper it, write it down. People said it back. So it was echoed and reverberated in his muscle memory. So that's what the process, yes, Angeline, is. It's about going back to a moment when there was trauma, reproducing the traumatic event, not the whole event, but just the part where the breakdown took place. Then something like this. Someone can actually take a stand to it. Often traumatic um, memories are healed by doing something dramatic that's equal or greater than the force of the trauma. So I have people do this. I take this pain, like you're wallowing it up in one of your hands, like an open chalice. I take this ugly pain of pretending to be less than who I am. Do this with me, everybody. And I send it. I send it back to the source. Send it back to the source. I send it back to where it came. And the person make a clockwise circle as though you're a clock moving clockwise through town. All of this is metaphorical. I'm doing this with consciousness so that within us doing exercises, we're moving through zones, viewed zones in their psyche. And then my new self-talk is whatever that happens to be. Sing it, shout it, whisper it, multi-sensorize it, and they take it away. So that's how I work with the trauma. We go back to the earlier incident, we redo it, we have a different ending, and we multi-sensorize the ending. What can you remember looking back on these moments 2 months from now, 3 months from now? I go, wow. One person who was very afraid, she was from New Zealand. I wanted to work with her when I was first bringing this work out to Australasia. It was 1990. And she said, I don't want to do this. I want to hide behind that curtain. So I said, okay, go ahead, hide behind that curtain. Next, who's next? She didn't like that. She didn't like that I took her turn over. She really wanted to turn. She said, wait a minute, how about me? 15 years later, I was in a movement dance workshop. And there was someone on the break who was talking about someone coming over to New Zealand and this silly exercise when she was hiding behind this curtain, afraid to come out. The guy said, "Oh, just go ahead, hide behind the curtain. We don't need you. We'll go on to the next person." She said, "Now I teach public speaking to women all around the world." I go, oh. We don't realize how we impact people.
Yeah. Yes. Wow. Can you imagine this in every school? It would be so powerful.
In a lot of schools.
I know too many that don't. That's why I'm saying yes. Yes. Yes.
The power of using creativity, ritual. I remember because I had spent quite a bit of time in this life as a professional court jester, with a three-horned hat, the face paint, the harlequin outfit, doing
Why am I not surprised?
Right here. Because I spent quite a bit of time in that character, it's never been a problem for me to turn into exaggeration, the fierce, and turn into something silly, but it has great profound movement when a person can suddenly go, oh, that's just my story. Oh yeah, well, let's act it out and see what's left. They get a chance to be seen. It's like, oh my God, I don't have that story anymore. I have a new story. Everybody's the same. We have this huge pilot flame burning, yearning to be seen. And until we deal with that trauma, as you mentioned, Angeline, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just putting Band-Aids on an open wound. So that's my approach. We want to get to the depth of the pain, but turn it around in a silly, maybe even ridiculous way. And then people are laughing while they're crying their guts out and they can't go back to where they came. They cannot, once the light is showing.
Yeah. Yeah. Helps me associate why you said freedom, but I was also hearing healing. And so thank you for sharing out, those couple of stories.
Well, that's what I find is that by using story with ritual, this multi-sensorizing tools I've developed, then people tell the new story. And then there's homework. That's the most important part. Notice what's different in your thinking, in your speaking, in your writing, if a person's a singer, in your singing, in your interacting, in your dreams, and then report to me. And often I do this online when I'm working with people online, and they go, "Oh, everything's different." But first, we have to come to that moment. It's generally one moment, and then look at what changed. There was one time I was working with a man who has cerebral palsy, and he wanted to learn my method. I was doing body therapy with one of his friends in Melbourne, Australia, and he lived in LA. He wanted to learn my method. Oh my God! Okay, we'll do it. So he hired a massage therapist to drive in from Las Vegas a couple of hours to LA, and I showed them every stroke, every affirmation. And after a while, he was shaking, and he said, "You know what? Forget the bodywork part. Let's just have some one-on-one coaching online." So we got to a place where he said, "Look, look, look, look. Let's say you were to have a conversation between you and the cerebral palsy. I often do this with our hands because it's so easy on the one hand. On the other hand, if you were to speak to the cerebral palsy and give it a new job title, because you consider yourself to be a gimp, you can't do anything with your body, you have all these rainbow healing abilities, what would you say to the CP?" He said, just as though he had been rehearsing this forever. "CP, I now give you the job title of creative perception, CP, creative perception." And that single moment changed everything. But he had to first find something that was more creative than what he had been pushing down, equal or greater force. And that changed everything. One single moment. Powerful stuff. Magical stuff.
So, Gary, how did you get into this work? Why didn't you just, I don't know, because we were joking about it a few times, why not just become a plumber? Why not? People keep talking about the Mario hat, and so I use plumbing as an example all the time. Why not just become a plumber or something else?
I had such physical abilities. When I was young, I liked climbing to the top of the roof of the house where I was living and jumping off the roof and pretending I could fly. And when I started doing that with my life, like became a court jester, they sent my parents to be sent to the best schools, the best camps. We gave you everything. We poured money into you. And this is what we get back, our son, the court jester, Jewish parents. And, I said, I'm on a mission. If you're on a mission, great. How's that going to pay the bills? You're on a mission. So I had such a passion and such a prowess with the physical body that as creativity came pouring out, and the court jesterhood was just a way to be able to tap into wisdom, creation myths, and my own deep archetypal understanding that was buried in the landscape of my own body. It wasn't until I was able to bring that out in service to others where I could help them free their sage and mage out of the cage. Open a new page, a new stage, be quite the until they were able to see that they too, we were all buried in our own landscape. I was stuck too. So this was my path. I had to free. This is what passions me, what drives me. That sense that we are all underneath all of the trying to be like everyone else, trying to be acceptable. We have this huge gift of uniqueness. And me, I just never, ever. I couldn't do it. I couldn't fit in. I had to carve my own path. My dad said something to me that was very touching just a couple of years before he passed. He said, "Gary, I just not agreed with your life choices, going to be a court jester, a clown, when we thought you'd be a doctor or something that we could feel respected, And but I have to say, your sister, she's done all the right things. She's got her own real estate company. But you, Gary, I don't agree with your path. I never agreed with your path, but I see you're helping a lot of people. You're helping people, and I see you're really fulfilled in your soul." I went, oh my God. That made up for all the years of you don't fit in. I don't fit in, and I prefer living on the edge. It's where I feel most at home. Not trying to fit in, but I will be a way shower to others who are stuck in their boxes. That's who I've become, a way shower through the unknown.
Yes.
Okay. To make a joke about the stuck in the boxes, usually, the speaking box is this big and you're not supposed to go outside it. I'm outside it all the time. That's where I like to play.
Yes, and I appreciate that, Dr. Gary, because that's what they told me in grad school. You don't fit. And I said, you're right. I don't. And it's okay. I'm not trying to go along to get along. I'm not trying to be the status quo. I'm not born to be that. And I'm not going to be that. So, and then when I did the research, I found that's what fit means in education. You go along to get along. You become part of the status quo. And so there is no freedom in doing that, right? There is no inclusion because you're really not including everyone in your space. So thank you. Yes.
It's so true. It has been said that a ship that is hauled up and connected with chains to the shore is not serving its purpose. Its purpose is to go into the unknown, and that's the only way that new worlds can be discovered. To me, because I've been doing this so much, these huge leaps, 10,000 miles sometimes at a time, shifting never my identity, but sometimes I would be using different nicknames, and I've been doing what I've been doing for over 50 years. What's not changed is the depth of seeing myself as an archaeologist of the soul, to free people's physical tension, and then underneath that, the emotional self-talk, holding these attitudes in place. It's only when those two layers are unraveled, physical, emotional, can the creative layers come bursting through. But it's definitely a sequential process. We have to get underneath the crusty, held onto layers that we're all holding onto, and suddenly that gifts of dancing or singing or speaking, whatever each one of us has, is already there. What Michelangelo said. I saw the angel already in that marble, and I chiseled everything else away. I set the angel free. What a wonderful way to see life.
Absolutely. The constant digging. Absolutely. Digging our way to freedom. That's what you're helping us do.
Finding the freedom that's already within. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember the exact words that you used. Well, first off, I was loving the archaeologist of the soul.
I could see you writing it down. I could feel it. I knew it. That's in my book, and this is my book. Get Up, Stand Up, my self-published. It's also on Amazon and Audible. And in the back cover, that's what it says. As an archaeologist of the soul, someone came up with those words for me. And it's a beautiful description of the layers, physical, emotional, creative. These are the chapters that show people how we can all amplify our message by transforming our relationship between us and our body, our partnerships, our communication, our creativity, and our contribution to humanity. I've been dedicated to this for years. And yeah, so this is the audio and ebook and the physical book. Get up, stand up for your life. Me leaping off a cliff there for the first time.
Is that you in the photo jumping off the rock?
It is. Yeah, three of me. Someone did a really cool video shot, and he broke them up into separate little shots and made it into one picture. That's including the splash at the end of the dive.
I don't know if I'll be that brave to jump off a rock.
I dove. I didn't just jump. I dove the way. It was probably the best dive I've ever done. I had no idea. We were looking for a photo for the front of my book. I had no idea that was going to be the photo when I just did it to do it, just to do it. It had its own gift in fully expressing itself. Yeah.
Oh, that was beautiful. So what perfect timing too, Dr. Gary, as this is the time that I want to ask you, where do we find you and what is your favorite way to communicate?
You can find me, and you're going to have these in the show notes later, I believe, as well. I'll send them to you just to be sure that people have them for later. But for now, I'll make it easy on you. You see down below where it says The Presentation Doctor? Okay, we'll change the wording to mypresentationdoctor.com. That's my website. It's got some great videos, wonderful teachings, all for free. You can also have a complimentary 20 minutes with me by going to tidycal.com/Dr. Gary Wohlman. I'll send you the link for that. That's probably the best way to reach me. I'm also available on WhatsApp, but I prefer Zooming so we can have a recording of, oh my God, did I really break through and I can't go back to being shy and meek like I was before? That's right. So I prefer Zooming when I can. Also by WhatsApp, and I'll give you that information. I'll send it to you afterwards, Laura, so others can see it who are looking at this later. Those are the best ways. My website, also my YouTube channel is very powerful and shows all of these breakthrough moments. It's a bit of performance art as well. And I'll send these to you so people can have access to the exact links, the correct links. I'm easy to reach. Come to the top of the mountain, 550 meters above sea level, 3 hours from the nearest town, 2 hours south of Brisbane, Australia. That's where you're reaching me here.
And I just asked, what is the name of your YouTube channel? Because there are people that are online watching now who may want that information.
Yeah, okay. So to be able to get onto my YouTube channel, what you need to do is, I'm just going to find the exact correct link for you because there's a number in there that's important. And it is, if you put in the words, mastering presentation skills, and add to that, I don't know it by heart. There we go. Yeah, mastering presentation skill, singular, 4125. That will do it. I can put that in this chat too, but I don't know how to get into the chat. So mastering presentation skill. Oh, I can do it this way. Here we go.
There you go. I'll put it in the chat.
Are you doing it? For everyone to see, yeah. I just found it as well. Actually, are people able to see this part of the chat if I put anything there or no?
In the comment section, yes, but not in the private chat.
Where's comments? I don't know.
Over on that part.
I found it.
Yeah. I did put the YouTube link in there because I did find it.
Okay, I did.
Yeah.
So I can just put it in?
I already put it in.
Oh, you put it in.
Yeah, I got
Great.
you.
Great. And then there's the website and the...
I did not put all of that in, no.
Now or later for everybody?
I don't usually put any of it in, but you can always put it in the comment section because you're going to get the video for yourself afterwards anyway. And who knows where that's going to be. So you'll put your own information on it wherever it goes at. Yeah.
This is too complicated for me to know what to do right now.
That's
I don't
okay.
see them. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for all the insightful questions. It's great. I always am curious what I like to ask at the end of these shows. Are we still on? Yeah, we are. Is what have you appreciated about this time?
We usually save that for after the main portion of the
more to talk
so we
about.
We will get there. But we have about 30 seconds left of the main portion. And I want to make sure that's clipped for you. So if you could leave people with something, what would you love to leave them with?
I would love to leave people with the message of trusting, leaping into the unknown, but not just any unknown. The unknown, if you're thinking between, do this with me with your hands, on the one hand this, on the other hand that, two different life choices. Feel when you, don't write it down, just feel when you talk about it. Notice which hand feels lighter, which one feels more animated, which one feels more lithe and supple. And you'll notice that's the right answer. You don't have to find it by analyzing in your head. Your hand, I gotta hand it to you, already knows. So when your energy goes up, the first question you ask me, what are you? So I'd say, I'm inspiring, I'm playful, I'm transformational. What for you lifts your spirits, empowers your every gesture, and gives you a feeling of clarity and fluidity with every thought, word, and action? That's the answer. So trust moving into the unknown when it augments your energy. That's when you know you're making the right choice.
Oh, I love it. So I will call this the official close to the main portion of the interview. Thank you so much, Dr. Gary.
It's a pleasure.
Now,
Thank you.
yeah, now I invite you to stick around for the next, we have about 4 minutes
Oh,
to do
boy.
a little bit of play and question. You have a question for us, so we can start with that. What was the question? Can you repeat the question that you had for us? Dr. Gary?
I don't know what question you're talking about.
Oh, I think you were asking about feedback from us about the interview.
Oh, I asked a question a while ago. I thought you didn't want to answer that. Oh, yeah.
Now's the time. Yeah.
I was saying, because you do so many of these, I'm always curious, because I know how colorful a character and deeply playful, penetrating I can be, how this was for both of you, because you see so many people, not better or worse. I'm not looking for ego stroking, but just unique. What stood out for you in this that was unique?
I really like that you're just as playful as me. Like I'm very much described as the person who feels like a 6-year-old who's being an adult and running a show, and I bring that energy. And it was nice to have somebody who brought that same energy as me.
Yes.
Yeah, because it's very rare. So I appreciated it.
Thank you. No, that's very good to hear. My playfulness, my poem, my song, I am all that. And it's taken me decades to accept that the world needs that lightness and that grace and that playfulness, not just the heaviness that we're so used to. So that's very validating for me. Thank you, Laura. How about you, Angeline?
Absolutely. I enjoyed everything. I especially that whole multi-censoring. And again, it was so timing for me because, like I said, I just was watching around trauma, and I'm working with a couple of, not so much working with, but I just heard stories about a couple of children who are carrying some deep trauma, and they're, like 8, 9, 10. And how do you use other forms besides just medicine, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, hearing you and watching you, it brought me back to both of those young people and what could be done as something else. Like, I'm going to take this and share this with their families, because I want them to see, maybe there's something else that you can try that you may not have ever heard of before. You may not have ever seen before. And when I think about the 8 or 9-year-old child and how they are playful, right? They are silly. And so this might be something fun for them to explore in the midst of becoming healed and set free. Yeah.
Well, if you wanted to go further with this, because I do have a whole stack of about 30 puppets, I didn't pull them out tonight. I would love to explore puppets, doing something with puppets and play. Because to me, puppets are as easy as putting up the hand. I want to talk. Wait till your turn. Wait till your turn. But I want to talk. I'm talking now. And it's so easy for me to do puppets. I'd love to do something with you involving children. Reach out to me.
I wrote down your my presentation doctor.com because when you said somebody can have a consultation with you, that was the first thing I said. You know what, I'm going to allow especially one parent in particular is coming to mind. She was just at my house the other day, and the things that she shared that that the young man is dealing with, I was just like, and he's in that playful, silly age, right? And so I just think this might be a way of a breakthrough for him. So yes, I thank you.
Welcome. Let me ask you too, Laura, I want to have
20 seconds.
I want to have people have the tidycal.com so they can have a complimentary time with me, and also the YouTube and the website. How do I get that to you?
You can go on any of these feeds on social media. I put the link in the email that I gave you, as well as in the Amplify Your Message group. And you can put it there.
Okay.
Okay, we've run out of time. Thank you so much, Dr. Gary. I appreciate you being here and being so playful at 1 o'clock in the morning, your time. So 2 o'clock now. Much appreciated.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you for the work you do.
Yeah.
It's worship. It's wonderful. It's wonder filled.
Sleep well, Dr. Gary.
Bless you. Thank you both so much.
Yes.
And our next guest is behind the scenes. Jennifer, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. I saw you giggling backstage.
I was enjoying. I wasn't there for the whole podcast, and so getting a little bit of a clue as to what was going on. I think you guys should have invited more people to play with you this morning at 2 a.m. or wherever he was.
So I am hearing a feedback when we're talking. So I'm not sure if you have headsets and stuff around.
I do not have a headset.
If not, then we can just play with the mute button a lot. Sure.
Let me see. What if I change the speakers?
Ooh, maybe. Maybe. As long as you can hear us. Yes.
As long as you can hear us. Yeah. How about now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear you now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's okay. I can't hear you.
Are we still having that feedback thing?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we
So
are.
what I'm going to ask Jennifer is that when you're done talking, just mute yourself.
Okay. How do I do that really easily? Is there a shortcut?
Try pressing the space bar.
How about that?
Yep. That works. Okay. I know it'll be a little annoying the whole time. So space bar on and off. But that way people won't get caught up in the audio and then they'll actually have a chance to listen. So what I usually do at the beginning of all of my interviews is I ask a question just to shake things up so I don't get your elevator pitch and I get to know Jennifer. So here's my question. Flipping my page. If you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Oh, what would they be? Is different from what I would want them to be.
Yeah, what would you love them to be?
Oh, what would I love them to be? I think self-sacrificing. I think I want people to know that I want people to, I would like for people to perceive me as someone who sees the value in other people and isn't wrapped up in myself. Another one would be somebody who is motivating to others, helps lift others. I don't know what would the word be for that. Inspiring, ennobling, that kind of thing, where it's like helps other people feel like they can be their best selves, wants that they want to be their best selves. And I would think that my last one would be I think it would just be a general caring, just like that people sense that they matter to me.
I love those words. Okay, so again, it's not the words themselves, it is the energy behind the words. So when you said self-sacrificing, but then you described you want others to see the value in themselves and that you're not wrapped up in yourself. I'm like, oh, okay. Whew. Because originally my thought was way off from there. Okay, so the next question.
I need some clarification. We probably need a better word. I didn't know that question was coming. I could have thought a little bit about what that really means to me, because I don't want to lose myself in and lose touch with who I am and what I need and those kinds of things there. But so we know what that looks like. It's not a healthy place to be. And I would want other people to feel empowered to become their best selves in my presence as well. So, not feeling threatened by that. There's a lot of people where if we get intimidated by another person's power, then we try to bring them down to feel like us, and then they can't rise to where they need to be. That happens a lot in family dynamics, things like that.
So then my next
I'm gonna
question.
work on these.
Yeah. So then my next question is, how do these three words, or the energy behind these three words? And you said self-sacrificing, but in the energy of seeing value in others, not wrapped up in yourself, uplifting and caring. How do these words and the energy behind these words, how do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
Oh, well, it's basically behind everything I do. The core message of what I teach is about financial wellness and how being succeeding with money, being financially independent or on the path to financial independence is not the same as having a healthy relationship with money. And I want people to have that confidence around money, not just that, okay, I can retire at a certain age. I think I'll be able to retire at a certain age, or I have enough money to cover my expenses if there was an emergency. That's a good level of confidence. And there are a lot of professionals out there that help people get to that point. But the idea that we're still, what's universal with around money is that every level of the socioeconomic ladder has financial stress. And not that I think we should be trying to eliminate that, because I think that pushing against uh, like working hard and having disruptions to happiness, that all is just part of the universal life experience. We go through very much like an S curve. We have happy times and then harder times and then happy times and then harder times, and the way of the universe is a wave. And we can't really fight against that. We can't say, well, we just want a straight line all the time. We want to know exactly what's going to happen, and don't want anything to disrupt, the peace that we feel today. That's not a realistic expectation. But what I want people to do when it comes to their money is stop pushing against the thing that they know that they need to do over the next hump. So it might be having a conversation with your boss about a raise or a promotion. It might be sitting down with your partner about, hey, I'm not really comfortable with the savings rate that we have right now. And I can't do it on my own. I can't just increase that for our safety, for our security on our own. Or sitting down and tackling your debt, the debt that you've accumulated. Like that's the next hump that you probably need to get over. You know what it is. We all, as soon as I say, what's your financial hang up? Everybody's like, oh, please don't ask. We already know what it is, that the next thing that we should probably be tackling. And I want you to have the confidence to get over that and know that that's possible for you to, you're going to succeed, you're going to surmount it. And then you're going to have more confidence when the next one comes up. And, I just want people to feel that they can not just have enough money, but that they can have that confidence, that peace, that calmness, that they've got the tools to address the financial hangups and the financial situations that they're going to be faced with over time.
So
So I think that those are all in those three. Does that make sense? I think I kind of maybe got offline, but those are all in those. Like I want people's lives to be better. It matters to me that we're all walking around with stress around money. It's pervasive across every level of the economic strata, and we're not talking about it. It's destroying our relationships. It's making our nervous systems activated at every little thing. There's and we're not acknowledging all of the factors that are influencing our financial decisions, which is my 7-layer framework. So I want people to get that, because so many times it's just, oh, I need to get some new knowledge or change my behaviors, like a habit forming thing. That's the two solutions that most people go to. But there's so many other things involved in that if we can say, hey, there's actually some systemic forces, there's some relational things going on, I might even have a neurological activation to some of these things, then that will decrease the shame and hopefully increase people's confidence, be able to just feel calmer and handle the next.
So this is I see a theme already, Laura. I see a theme around healing already. And so I appreciate, Jennifer, hearing what you're saying, because I literally have been talking about for a minute when you said healthy relationship with money. Several months ago, I was listening to someone talking. They were doing a show around money, and they were talking about also how we were raised in our relationships around money. What did our mothers teach us around money? So when you said those societal factors and the relational factors, I'm like, yes, yes. Like my body just started going like, yes, yes, right? And so what are we carrying possibly as well as some of those misconceptions around what we learned that also possibly foster some trauma around how we handled money and how we continue to handle money. And so I just came back from Morocco with my business coach, and the first thing she said was, we're going to have a conversation around what you were taught about money as you were growing up, because that could be what's hindering you from moving to the next level that you want to go. So is that a part of your 7 steps? Because you made me happy.
Yes, absolutely it is. So my 7 layers are societal, relational, behavioral, educational, psychological, no, sorry, psychological, physiological, and neurological. I should probably switch physiological and psychological, but I'm going from the biggest down to the smallest. So from the macro system that's affecting even some of the choices that are available to us, to the trauma responses in our nervous system that may keep us from being able to take action in the ways that we know we need to. So it goes all through those. And what you were just talking about is in the psychological level. It's the stories that we tell ourselves, it's the belief system that we carry around money. For most of us, it's unexamined. We've never actually listed out our money beliefs. There are some metrics and things, but the one that I use is I just have like some money and then I fill in like money and work means da da da, and you fill it in. You say, what does money means this in this context, and the very first thing that you think about before you get into your prefrontal cortex and actually analyze it, the thing that just comes up, just floats up automatically from your unconscious mind, is your belief. And those were all formed when you were like between age 7 and 10, okay, in a neurotypical person between ages 7 and 10, before you've even had hardly any experience with money, you were forming this belief system. And some of it can come from actual things that people said, like, what did your mother teach you about money? Is one thing. Like, we're going to sit down and I'm going to show you what a checkbook is, or we're going to sit down and I'm going to show you, what you do every paycheck. You get a paycheck and how you handle your bills. That might be direct teaching. But then there were also teachings that came indirectly that you just picked up on and that your immature child had to try to interpret and make sense of. And and because we don't examine them, because we don't vet them, we don't say, wait, how did this get in here? And do I want it in here? This belief. We're carrying those into our adult relationship with money, and for most of it's wreaking all kinds of havoc. I mean, where it's causing problems in the way that we relate with other people. We perceive things. We judge other people's their actions around money. We might say, okay, let's say we've got a saver and a spender. That's a typical life relationship dynamic. One person likes to save, they feel secure, they actually enjoy like watching the account balances go up. They look for sales, they're trying to economize, and the other person is more in the moment and likes to, enjoy what's going on for them right then, and less worried about the long-term ramifications of those spending choices. Right. So if you're a saver, it can be very easy in our dominant economic culture in the United States to say that's the better place to be. It's like, oh well, yeah, if you want to be financially secure, you need to be on the saver side. But that's a belief system from a societal place that says this should be part of your experience. You need to be kind of anxious even, there's like kind of a level of like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm vigilant, or maybe I'm even into the anxious, like, I can't even spend money. It's painful to spend money, right? That can come up a lot. And that's not any better than the person who never checks their balances and just spends and says, okay, well, where's the next plastic card I can get to buy this thing, right? So there, I'm losing sight of the original question. Remind me what it was. About the belief systems and how they follow us into adulthood. Is that kind of the thing? So yeah, we're examining those. We're examining those stories. And when we start to look at that, a lot a lot of things start to click and light bulbs go on, like, oh yeah, we had some housing insecurity for a while. And I'm just, really anxious about so I have to have, a year's worth of rent covered. Like I feel like I need to have that in a savings account. Or maybe I'm really anxious about paying off my mortgage early, even though the math says it's better to invest the difference and not pay off your mortgage early. It's better to put that in a diversified stock portfolio and save it. But I can't even sleep at night if I think somebody else could be taking away my housing security. So there's those kinds of experiences in that. And then there's just the little ones. I've worked with people who their belief system around money was they had the culture in the family was, what's yours is mine and mine is yours. And so you might earn some money as a teenager or babysitting or something like that. And then your family might need it. And the promise might be, I'm going to pay you back, but it was kind of a loose promise. Maybe that's really, it's like, I'm going to try to pay you back. But because you live here in this house and you share in the resources, that's not necessarily the way that the person that is borrowing the money is thinking about things. And so a person who may be experienced and they earned some money, and then other family members went and used that money to pay for the things that they think were important, then that person might grow up and actually have a tendency to shun money. Like to them, it's painful. It represents something that's going to be lost. We know that one of our biases is loss aversion. When we get something, the pain of losing that is greater, twice as great as the feeling of elation that we get when we get something. So the loss it's almost like, you know what? I just want to skip that whole loss altogether. So I might be an under earner. I might be someone who never asks for a raise. I might spend things as soon as I get them so that nobody else can say, "Oh, can I borrow that money?" It's like, "Oh, I just don't have any." So those kinds of things can make the state of interacting with our money as adults very difficult to do well, especially if we don't look at them. We're not examining them. We're not saying. I like to think of this is a Rick Kahlerism. He's one of the people in this space. He says, think of your financial boardroom, like the people that are making the financial decisions. You've got this boardroom, and think of it as like all these little children around your boardroom. And they're saying, I like this, and I like this. This is gonna work, but this is like last time we did that, it didn't look very good. Like that's from Blumber, like these 7 and 10-year-olds, picture the legs swinging under the chairs, and the table like up to here on their heads. We have to say, how did that belief system get into our boardroom? Do we want it there? Is it still serving us? And also forgive that system that we have taken into childhood and where it maybe got us. Maybe it got us into debt. Maybe it's caused some relational problems and led maybe to divorce or bankruptcy. And then just say, we didn't know any better. We did the best we could with the information we had. We're not having conversations around our belief systems in our society. Money is taboo. Parents haven't been taught how to talk about money with their children. And so the very first step is to say, I understand how this happened. It's all okay, but from here going forward, I'm going to change the dynamic. I'm going to do things more purposefully.
I remember one of the things growing up for me was I just registered this in my mind the last year or two. I realized that my parents said no pretty much all the time. Okay. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. We can't afford that. And that in my brain equated to if you don't need it, you don't get it. And so anything that I wanted or anything that I desired or anything that I just liked but didn't need, nope, I was not allowed to have it. So even as an adult, that's how my money mindset would go is you can't buy that because you don't need it.
That's your belief. That's the belief right there. If you don't need it, you can't get it. Or if you don't need it, it's not, wants don't make the radar because that's going to put you into trouble or make there's like a lot of fear that comes up. It might even have a neurological response around splurging on something. That's like it's really hard for you to maybe buy something that's just a desire that has no practical utility to you.
Now add that
It makes
to
me
the
really
fact,
happy.
yeah. So add that to the mindset that going to the doctor was a want, feeling better was a want because you did what you needed to do to make it through the day. So when I was in my accident and I was the breadwinner and I lost my job, getting a massage was a want, not a need, even though at first, after about 2 weeks, I could hardly move. And then eventually a month, eventually, right? So going to the chiropractor was a want, not a need. All these things that helped me feel better when I really needed to look after me, they were seen as wants and not needs. And years later, it's still paying the price. Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you for finding your way to that truth, though. I mean, you still have time to address that and to change the way that you relate to money going forward. And so that's a lot of people don't even get there. They're still living with that. So good work there, Laura.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight how even these little things, because I've been working on my money mindset for years. I read so many books, loved Ken Honda, been practicing the whole arigato money. I wrote a love note to money and I had it in my purse for a while, which was the first time I actually started seeing financial changes in my life because I saw it every single time I touched money. And now I'm to the point where all those habits that I started and weren't very good at a decade ago have gotten to the point where they're semi normal and I'm finally seeing results. And it's like, oh, I planted that seed a decade ago and now look what's happening. And I wasn't perfect at it. I wasn't. But I continued with it even though I wasn't perfect at it and it still makes change. So celebrating all of
And
it.
that's one of the messages. It's a wonderful example. I'm so glad that you said that so people can understand that that again, the cycle of change includes ups and downs. It's never a straight line. And there's always the next hump to get over, and not to be afraid of that, and not to say, oh man, something's wrong with me because I didn't get it right the first time. But also understanding, like so many people skip to, I need to start the new habit. And then when that doesn't work, they probably even create a new belief system like, I'm bad with money, I can't do this, that kind of stuff, which makes it harder again, makes it even harder to do it the next time. Whereas if we say, hey, there's a neurological response that's going on to this. I'm actually getting activated when I try to sit down and budget, or when I think about a long term plan, or this is pervasive for almost all investors. If they look at their balance and it's lower than it was the last time they looked at it, you're going to get activated. And so, not to be afraid of that, not to say, oh, that's something's wrong, I must change. And that's the thing about the neurological response, is that stress response, it's just a general reaction to any stress. The body doesn't know that whether or not it's a fiction, or whether or not it's a truth, whether or not it's an emotional danger that you're sensing or a physical danger that you're sensing. It's just this general response. And that stress response is built to activate the body, to create the need and the desire to do something. And so if you're an investor and you feel like, and we all should be investors, not speculators, there's a difference. But if we're investing and we have that neurological response, it makes us want to do a thing. Call our advisor and change our asset allocation. Sell a stock or buy a different one. Move something around. Oh, I've got to do something. And what we have to do is like, okay, let's find a different way to release that energy. You could go run around the block. You could write out exactly what it was you wanted to do. So you're physically like making, you're actually doing something with your body. If I was not as smart as I am, I would do this exact action. But I know because this is a neurological response, it's not something that means that there's anything actually wrong. Your portfolio balance will go up and down if you invest. It's supposed to. That's the only way that you get long-term returns and growth over time. So there's nothing bad about your plan. There's nothing wrong with the strategy. The system's working exactly the way that it should. But you're going to have that response. So we have to find another way to handle it. So I love your example there, Laura. And please, people, just start now. I mean, the best time to start doing something better with your money was 10 years ago, but the next best time is right now. Just start doing it differently now. And it might begin with an analysis of your past instead of looking at your spreadsheet or creating a spreadsheet or looking at your budget and your accounts. That might not be the best place for you to start because money is not just about the math and the numbers that we see. It is about this. It's so much tied up in our identity, our belief system. There's these cultural forces that are affecting our ability to be successful with it. Certain communities in the United States have advantages and certain communities don't, or disadvantaged. So we have to like do all that analysis. That's when I work with people, the first 4 sessions, we don't even look at the dollars. And they're like, well, when are we going to start looking at my spreadsheet? When are you going to teach me about how to budget? And I'm like, well, first we got to talk about what you learned growing up, what's going on between the two of you, and what you're feeling when stuff happens. Like when you need to make a financial choice, we got to take ourselves out of that and go, okay, here's my little boardroom with all my children. Who's coming? Who's standing up and saying, well, so I'm going to make the decision tonight. And what are they seeing? What's the belief system that they're coming in with? And then we can start to look at, all right, now we've got a basis for what your relationship with money has been. You're more mindful, you're capable of being mindful and looking at it objectively and going, oh yeah, I'm not the person to shame when I have money problems. The system doesn't help. Consumerism is pervasive. Everybody's telling you buying something will solve your problem. And so no wonder we're all in debt. $1 trillion of consumer debt right now. And then we're told, and it's all your fault, which is that's just not true. It can't be all your fault. For one thing, why are credit card companies even allowed to give out debt that is at 30% interest rate? If you're taking out debt at 30% interest rate, that's because the the credit card companies, the banks, they expect you not to be able to pay it back. If they thought that you would pay it back, they would charge you lower interest. That's the risk that they're taking. Is like, you're probably not going to pay this back. I don't have any collateral. I don't have any, I probably haven't verified by looking at, I haven't done any due diligence to see, have you paid your bills in the past? What does it look like in your financial world? I'm giving you this unsecured debt. And yeah, I'm expecting not to get all of my money back. And so I have to charge you a high rate of interest right from the get-go. That's a systemic problem. That's not just like, oh yeah, I got into a bunch of credit card debt. Yes, it's your responsibility to get out of debt, but is it entirely your fault that you're there? No. And to me, the difference is I think about fault and responsibility in this analogy. If you had an arsonist burn down your home, whose fault is it that your family doesn't have a place to stay that night? It's the arsonist's fault that you don't have a place to stay. Whose responsibility is it to make sure that your family has a place to stay that night? It's yours. And it would be wonderful if someday we could get to the point where the person whose fault it also was their responsibility. That's not the world we live in. A lot of times we live in the world where somebody else created the problem, but it's my responsibility to deal with whatever came out of that. And that's just because we live around people, we live with people. We want people. Society flourishes when we're working together. So that just recognizing, all right, it's not entirely my fault that I'm here. Certain segments of society are disadvantaged. I wasn't privileged like others, but it's my responsibility to change things going forward if I want a better life. And there's power there. That's not, that's saying I can't wait for the system to change entirely, although I can take steps. We do live in a place where there is self-government and we should have a voice and we should use that. But in the meantime, I'm going to explore my value system. I'm going to think about the ways that I've been interacting with money, trying to do it mindfully. I'm going to start to establish new habits, recognizing that it's going to look very much like a cycle. It's going to be, I did it well, I didn't do it well, I did it well, I didn't do it well, until it gets to the point where maybe those troughs in the cycle of like, yikes, I really went off the deep end there in my spending or whatever, those are going to start to spread apart. You're gonna, it's and they show this with addiction recovery. The way to really measure your progress in addiction recovery is not, did you go off the wagon? It's, how long ago was your last time? And are we lengthening those times? Did we fall off the wagon, 10 days ago, and then the next time was 30 days? That's progress. We don't need to not, we don't need to hurt ourselves or to shame ourselves for the fact that we went off the wagon. We celebrate the fact that it's 30 days we went. Or if it's, now it's 2 years, or now it's 3 years, or I was, up to my eyeballs in credit card debt and now I have less. That's better than saying, well, I have to have none in order to feel anything good or feel any progress. Just knowing that, the cycle goes like this. When people come to me and they're like, oh man, I blew it. I'm like, expected you to. We talked about that. It's going to happen. So now we know something new. We know how long that took, that there was greater time in between when you overspent last time or gambled or whatever the financial problem was, or we got in a fight over money, or I kept a secret from my spouse. But now I know and I want to talk about it. Whereas before I was keeping that secret for 10 years and now I'm keeping it for 10 days. Tremendous progress there.
I remember many times my husband would get mad when I would bring somebody over because we were in debt. We were going to the food bank. We got rent evicted. Like, things were not good. Okay. And I had said before that I was the breadwinner. So to go from me being the highest paid out of the two of us to not having my income on top of all my medical bills was intense. So I would try to find people to come help. And then I would bring them in. I really liked them as human beings. And every time they would start with the same thing. Let's look at your budget. Where can you save? I'm like, I don't think you understand. We both grew up poor. We're not doing any of the fluff. And they're like, oh no, let's lay it all out. You're totally doing the fluff. There's nothing to cut back on. And then my husband would just get so mad. He's like, you're not allowed inviting any other financial people to our house. Ever. I don't care. Ever. So when you started saying that we're working on mindset first, and they kept questioning, when is the budget coming in? When is the budget? Good. That's what needed to happen those many years ago, not the budget.
Yes. And I so appreciate that, Jennifer, because when I first heard you say the 7 layers, that's why I wanted to hear what they were. As I now am even looking back at maybe, did I miss something in my money journey, right? Because I told you I started this after hearing something similar not too long ago. But right now, one of the things I do, I also teach a Gateway to Success course with justice impacted individuals. And so one of the things that we're looking at that I kind of brought into the class is we got to deal with our inner child. We got to deal with those spaces, right? And so in my work around systems, I hear people talk about education, finance, the penal system, but we never talk about the system called self. And we never take that time to recognize that our greatest journey that we'll ever take is the one that's within. And when we begin to recognize and know self and how we were shaped and formed, and I'm looking at your 7 layers via these 7 layers, and I find that when I do that inner child activity, so much comes up and comes out for them. And it's just amazing because it takes them to a place of at least they're getting a start here. At least they're having some time outside of the world, even if it's for 4 weeks and 7 hours a day or whatever, to really just take a moment to concentrate and to stop and think how each of these layers. And I'm sitting here thinking like Jennifer doesn't even know, but in my next class, we might have to pay this clip so they can understand all the 7 layers, because I don't go that deep, but I may not call them that. We talk about them, but now we can put the actual words and relate it to that. So yes, I that was just good for me. And then Laura, your story just added to it, because mine was the opposite, right? My grandmother was like, just spend money, spend money, spend money, because she never had it. So when she did have it was just like, girl, go get my card. Let's go here, or go get my wallet. Let's do this, right? And we as kids was like, okay, let's go, right? That type of thing. And so when I sit back and think about my relationships, and like you said, what was taught internally, what I was learning from it, it was, yeah, it's this is good. I'm enjoying this. Thank you for this, Jennifer.
And Dr. Dean, I love that you're giving them space to explore that child. It's really attending to that child. It's really, you said, give it, I'm not sure the word that you used, but the what we're actually doing is giving attention to a child is wounded. Our inner children, if they're showing up in adulthood, it's because they didn't get a need met in childhood. And so when we attend to them, when we say, one of the very first things I tell people to do when they sort of meet that inner child, it comes up in some interaction in their adult space, I say thank you. Thank you for coming up with whatever belief system or whatever mechanism, whatever coping strategy you needed to do to get me through that unmet need that you weren't powerful enough to meet yourself. That was the role of your caregivers. No caregiver is going to meet every need of their child. No group of people can meet every need, because we're not mind readers. We can't really tell, and the child can't tell us. So we're all going to come up with these wounded parts. Most of them are going to show up somewhere in our money, in our relationships, in our motivations. They've even now shown that, like, the tendency that we have to procrastinate is a product of our childhood trauma. So stop feeling guilty about it. It's like, oh, I needed to attend to that childhood trauma need. I was taught something about myself that isn't true, that I'm now believing. And we all come through that. And one of the things that happens in our society too is that we're not taking the time. We're so busy, like, we have to make money. Time is money is another belief system, right? That's part of the dominant economic culture. So time is money is constantly giving us this pressure. And it's like, well, I'm not making any money if I'm just attending to my wounded inner child. And it's like, well, actually, there's a circular way that says you will. You will actually help increase your ability to attract money to you if you tend to that wounded child from your past. But it doesn't feel like that. It's like watering the lawn when it's just seeds, and you're just watering dirt for like 3 weeks, and you're like,
Yep.
ooh, is this ever going to turn into a lush lawn? At least here in Arizona, where I am, and grass doesn't grow. You're watering dirt for a long time, and that's how it feels when you give. But the cool thing about it is that I've seen transformation. I've been transformed. Laura's talked about transformation. Dr. Dean, you've talked about, yes, we know it can be done. We can get to the point where we're like, yeah, this is happening. We're kind of looking down on the stage going, wow, my little childhood parts making decisions on my behalf right now. I'm going to sneak in there with my true self and say, hey guys, I got this now. Thank you so much for your input and for keeping me keeping me safe and keeping me going and doing the best that you absolutely could. Let me take care of you now. We're going to go out and we're going to meet some of our wants.
Mhm.
We're going to actually do some of those things that increase our joy, and we're not going to feel guilty about it. Even though I might have this belief system of like, that's bad to do stuff you want. There's no value in that. You can only do the stuff that you need. So all of that needs to be explored.
So, Jennifer, we only have about 60 seconds left, and I want to make sure that we know where to find you and your favorite way to communicate.
So breakthroughfinancialwellness.com. Breakthrough, just like it sounds, is my website. A little bit under construction right now. Right now, you're going to see just the speaking side, but I do meet with people individually. There's a way to contact me on there. Just email me if you want to connect about ways to present to your organization or to meet.
Awesome. So I will call this the official close to the main portion of the interview. Thank you so much, Jennifer. So now we have about 3.5 minutes to play for social media, which means this is where I like to ask stuff that stood out to us and create little teasers for people to watch the full interview. So, Jennifer, I will start with you. What is one thing that stood out to you during our conversation today?
I just love, because I always find when I start talking about money and money mindset, money psychology, money relationship, that people have a story and they want to share it. We need to talk about it. So you two did exactly that. We have a story. It needs to come out. It needs to be shared. Shame will diminish as we do that. We'll recognize that we all have a story. We're all messed up with money. And so I love that we were able to do that.
Thank you. And Dr. Angeline, what is something that stood out to you during our conversation with Jennifer?
First, the whole conversation, but in particular, her naming the 7 layers. That was powerful for me. Yeah, those 7 layers. And I want to explore those a little bit more as well. Yes. So thank you.
So the teaser that I'm going to create for social media is, yes, Jennifer was sharing her 7 layers for a framework to help you make decisions around money. Now, I missed the last one. Don't tell us what it is, Jennifer. They will have to go back and watch it. And I'll tell you the first 6, but please help me in the comments, wherever this is. Help me with the 7th one. It's societal, relational, behavioral, educational, physiological, psychological, and then that 7th one, which I don't have it in my notes. So please let me know. Go back and watch the interview. Thank you so much, Jennifer. What we didn't have a chance to
Thanks
do
for having me.
in the interview itself is I like to hold space at the end of an interview. So we'll do it here for anything that is on your mind or in your heart that you wanted to share. So in the 1.5-ish that we have left, what would you love to leave people with today?
That your financial problems are not entirely your fault, and we need to acknowledge so many other factors besides the fact that you're not disciplined enough, you don't have the willpower, and you're not smart enough. Those are the 2 messages that we get from society, and that's just not right. That's just not right. That's wrong. There's all these other things that affect our ability to be successful with money.
So you said smart, disciplined. So I'm trying to write them down.
Well, that's what society says you're lacking. Oh, if you're not good with money, you're not smart enough and you're not disciplined enough. If you just got the knowledge and then you disciplined yourself and integrated new behavioral habits, then you'd be successful. And financial wellness is saying you can even be successful in the way that you can have all the habit forming stuff and still be really messed up inside and have a whole bunch of broken, unattended to parts that are making relating with money difficult on a psychological level and a relational level, that are affecting your ability to feel calm and peace. So many wealthy people, they can't even spend their money. They've been in accumulation phase and being so vigilant about like spending less than they make and making sure that there's all this savings potential. They get to the point where they got millions in the bank and they can't enjoy it. They literally can't spend the money. It hurts their nervous system is activated.
Yeah.
Their wives and families are saying, make all the sacrifices. We're not gonna have any fun now.
So I want to take this moment to say thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here. Such a delight. Always appreciate you. And we will see you next time.
Okay, thanks, Laura. Thanks, Dr. Angeline.
Thank you.
So we do have our next guest behind the scenes. Simone, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. Awesome. Oh, I almost clicked the other button. Welcome, Simone.
Hello.
I didn't even realize that you were going to wear your hat today. Yep. Okay.
Great fashion minds think alike.
Oh, I know. Well, we will get to that part. Yes, for sure.
Okay.
How I like to start off interviews is a little different because many times we just get somebody's elevator pitch and it's boring, and then we're just sucking you for your value instead of getting to know you as a human being.
Okay.
So I have an opening question, which I'm using as a research question.
Sure.
We're just going to shake things up.
All right.
So if you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
I think I would say devoted, passionate,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not a word, but a phrase more, love of life.
Ooh, love of life. The point is really the energy behind the words. So I like that you put a little phrase in there.
Yeah.
The only other question that I have pre-scripted here, and the rest is just fun and curiosity, is how do these 3 words, devoted, passionate, and love of life, how do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
They are everything. And that is the core of who I am, really. Devoted to my family, to my career. I'm passionate about life. I'm passionate about the people around me. I'm passionate about the world around me. I care a lot, sometimes to my own fault. And I love life, the peaks, the valleys, all of it. I think it's a journey. I think it's a ride, and it's how you navigate it.
I love that. So if you could give us a little bit of an idea, something that's nice and easy to copy paste for social media to tell people, what is it that you stand for? What kind of message are you trying to share with the world?
Especially now with what's going on in the world. I think I always have been, I think I've always been taught to be about love, togetherness, peace. I think that's really what my whole being is about. I think that I kind of minister through my music. I uplift people. I bring them joy. I pull them out of a dark space. And I take it very seriously. People always ask me, aren't you tired of singing that song after 30 years? And I'm like, no, actually, because, and I say this in every interview, my mom was with me on one of my early shows with Loving when we were doing the New Year's for City TV downtown. And she came along with me for my sound check because it was going to be too cold the night. She's like, I'll just come now and see you. And I said, okay, great. And when we were going home, she said, I want you to always remember this song is not about you. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. She said, remember, every time you sing, that song is uplifting people. It's giving them strength. People are falling in love. People are becoming friends. They're releasing. And every time I sing it, that's what I see in front of me. I literally can see it unfold in front of me. And so I take what I do very, very seriously. I'm very passionate about it. I'm very kumbaya. Let's get together. I said, I don't care what your ethnicity. I don't care about your sexuality. I don't care what where you are, what your station, rich, poor, whatever. When you come to hear me sing, we're partying together. It's not about standing up and watching me. This is your moment to release. This song is about you. And so, I feel very blessed because a lot of singers don't get anthems like that, and it's just I'm very passionate about it.
Aw. So for those who don't know, Simone Denny is known as the lead vocalist for Love Inc. And the song that you keep referencing to is, most people remember the song, You're a Superstar. Of course, Broken Bones is also a wonderful song that people love as well. But the anthem is You're a Superstar.
Absolutely.
And coming from my vantage point, that's how I met you
Yeah,
many
thank you.
years ago when the song
Yeah.
came out, was because I was in a dark place. Just when you were talking about all those people, you're so
Yeah.
connected to the song being about them. That's the song that I would play on repeat to get me out of the darkest place of my life.
Yes.
And I remember sending you a message probably 2 decades ago at this point,
Yeah.
telling you a little bit about how much I appreciated you
Yeah.
putting your heart and soul, not just your voice, your heart and soul into the song and into the anthem.
You're going to make me cry.
Good. No, I'm just joking. You know that I appreciate you for it. But the song isn't just the song. The song is a message. And that's why I want to get to the heart of the human being behind the message.
Yes.
Because it's a movement, but it's also an expression of who you are.
Yes.
And I see it all over your social media. I've seen it in all kinds of the amazing things that you do.
Thank you.
Because one of the other things that inspired me was you are all over the fashion scene, trying to like show off the curves.
Curvy girls.
And
Yeah.
as a curvy girl myself, I was
Yeah.
like, how do you look so amazing in everything? How do I do that on my body?
You know what? It starts with loving who you are.
Yeah.
This body gets us through a lot of things in life. And I don't think, I think people are really caught up with TV and social media. And, you know, I think you got to get to a point where you do what works for you. Stress can cause weight gain. Hormones can cause weight gain. Depression can cause weight gain. There's so many things that as women we go through, pregnancy, you know, just everyday life. And we are really under a very harsh and hard, what's the word I'm looking for? Standard, you know, to look a certain way and be a certain way. I mean, look at what happened with Nelly Furtado just a few weeks ago. She's gained a lot of weight, and it was very interesting to see the men behind the scenes, just everyday ordinary men who were making these horrible comments about her. And I'm like, you don't even know what she's going through, you know? And if she chooses to stay at that weight and she's healthy, that's her, you know, decision. She does not have to make her body look beautiful for you. You know, she is beautiful the way she is. Leave her alone. Just leave her alone. Like, just give her
What
some
a
space.
concept.
Let her breathe. You know, I've gone through weight gain. I've gone through weight loss. I mean, it's I don't think people really realize how maddening it can be for us and the pressure that we are under. And it's like, just be beautiful. My motto is be beautiful where you're at until you're where you want to be, but be fabulous every step of the way. There's no excuse for that. Get up. How you put yourself together is really an expression of how you feel about yourself. You know what I mean? So if you are a
Yes.
size 26, a 5X, a 1X, a 2, whatever it is you are, be beautiful in that moment where you are, because you can change it. You know, if you want to change it. If you're going to stay where you are, girl, work it.
That explains all the heart
Right?
that went
Right?
into. I know.
Absolutely. Work it.
Yes, that explains the heart that went into. Did you write the song or did you sing the song
I
for
helped
Queer
with the
Eye?
melody. I helped with the melody. The words were
Okay.
written by Vince DiGiorgio.
Okay.
He's a Canadian Canadian songwriter. I think he's the head of the songwriters of Canada, actually.
Nice.
And so Canadian writer, you know, and it was a beautiful song. We heard it. He gave me a demo tape with him singing on it. You know, it was a little flat and sharp, and it is what it is. You know what I mean? And so I helped to really iron out the melody. Brad Damon really was the producer behind it and just made it the amazing production that it is. And it was magic. You know, when you hear a song, you can know whether it's a hit. I don't know to say it any other way. You know, you hear something, you're like, I think this is something. You don't know how big it's going to be, but you're like, I think this is something, you know? So
Yeah.
it's 30 years later, almost 30 years later, and it's still going.
Is it really 30 years later?
Yeah. Yeah.
Time
We're almost at
flies.
30 years. I think we're about 27, 28 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
It is. It really expresses how deeply this song resonates with people. And it's for everyone. It doesn't matter what type of music you listen to. If you listen to R&B, that's fine. If you listen to rock, that's fine. But what I encourage you to do is, if you're not familiar with the song, listen to the words and get into the moment of it, because it's an experience. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's really what it's about.
Yes. I listened to pretty much every single genre in
Yes.
last time I counted 18 different languages, but I do
Amazing.
not understand the
That's
18
okay.
different languages.
That's okay.
It's because it's the energy behind the person singing that really draws me in. And that's why I loved you so much, is you had such power and such emotion in your
Thank
voice,
you.
which can
Well, I
be so
believe what I
rare.
say. That's important
Exactly.
for me, as I believe in what I'm saying. And like I said, it's serious. It's a serious and passionate thing for me.
Yeah. So let's go back in time a little bit. Why is this message of love and togetherness and peace such a message for you? Where did that come from?
I would attribute that to my Caribbean heritage. I was raised, my parents are from Guyana. I grew up with my parents and my grandmother living in my home. And I would say that a lot of the love that I have for people, and the way I've learned to love people and embrace the world, comes from that entire culture. Um, Music is an integral part of Caribbean culture, and we love our soca, we love our reggae music. And if you listen to the lyrics of soca music, it is about togetherness. It is about loving your fellow man. You know, there's so many songs, and I've encouraged so many of my friends to listen to the music, because I'm like, don't get caught up with the wine. The wine is one aspect of it, but there's a reason people are jumping up like that, because it's a release. So it's like, listen to the words. And I mean, you could even go back to reggae with Bob Marley, with political commentary. You know, it's powerful. You know, it's extremely powerful, and it's a release. So if you're stressed out in your life, or you're dealing with something, you're playing that in your car, you're playing that on the weekend, and then you go back to work on Monday, it rejuvenates you and strengthens you. And you're like, okay, nothing's going to stop me. Let's get to Monday. I can take on any challenge that comes to me. And so being in that culture and going to fetes, and it's even kind of rippled into the way I perform, where I see soca artists and how they're able to command an audience of millions of people. And I take little bits of that, and it's all part of what I do. I literally is all part of what I do. So I would say it all comes from family, it all comes from culture, it's all there. It's all wrapped up in one. And that, even coming from, my family is, yes, predominantly a proud Black family, but we have a lot of other ethnicities in our blood, also in our family. Germans, Swedish, Chinese, Filipino, English, they're all there, you know, and we all love each other. Indian, we have Indian as well. Everybody is there. That's so typically of the Caribbean experience. I've got cousins of every ethnicity, and it's, you know, we all love and embrace each other. And you know, I call it tribes. In our family, you have all these different tribes. You can walk in a room and see us all, and you're like, yeah, we're all family. We're all related. Aww. And people are like, oh. So for me, I don't walk around the world with anger. I treat you as you treat me. You treat me with respect, you're going to get respect back. I don't look at somebody and immediately pigeonhole them. Oh, this person of this ethnicity, oh, this is how they're going to behave. I open my mind and I see what's before me, and I treat you with the same energy and respect you give me. That's just who I am.
Exactly. And that's why we start these interviews off with the humanity of it, and not anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I need people to see Simone as Simone first.
Well, now they know.
now they know. No.
If they didn't know, now they know.
I love all of this. And there have been many different ways that you've decided to share your message. We talked about fashion a little bit. We talked about music a little bit.
Yeah.
Were these things something that always resonated with who you were as a person, or were they things that you just kind of fell into?
Well, truth be known, music was not my first choice. I wanted to be a visual artist. Visual artist was fashion. That was my first love. And in my mind, I was like, I'm going to be a fashion designer. I used to draw, paint. That's what I did as a child. That was my love. And music just kind of bumped into me. And it was a school talent show. I wanted to do something for the school spirit. And my Anne Marie was a big song. You Needed Me at the time. And I was learning to play
Yeah.
it on the guitar. I was learning to play it on the guitar is what I was. Because my parents were like, well, you need to learn a musical instrument. We want you to be a well-rounded child. So I was like, okay. So I tried guitar, learned the song just for my class, and was sitting in the living room singing it along. My mom was like, why don't you sing that for the talent show? Because you know it already. You're learning it. It's a nice song. It's popular. Do it. Went and well, actually, I was going to do Michael Jackson. I was going to do a dance routine. And when we got to the audition door, all my friends backed out of the audition. I was like, really? Right as we were about to go in. And so I had to turn away from the audition. And I said, can I come back and audition another time? They said, yes. The Anne Marie song was what my mom suggested. Went up, sang it, got a standing ovation. Shocked me. Looked in the audience. My mom was in tears. And I'm like, oh, this makes my mom happy. Okay. And that was it. That was it. I was an only child. So the attention was great. So I was like,
Yes.
okay. Went back in there the next year. I think I did Fame or one of the songs from Fame, and
Oh, I
got
love
another
Fame.
got another standing ovation, and I think that pretty much solidified it. But having the Caribbean parents that I have, they're
Yeah.
about schoolwork, they're about your books, they're about there was like, I was the only one in the family who was that I knew at the time that was doing music, and they were like, well, it's cultural, but well, about you be a lawyer or a doctor or
Yes.
that was the pressure because most of my cousins are professionals. So here's Simone who wants to sing. They're like, why? So it wasn't an easy road. It wasn't an
No.
easy road. No.
My daughter's kind of in the same boat right now, is because
There
I
you go.
started off as an engineer, went into architecture and, that kind of
There you
thing.
go.
But I've always loved music and I've loved
Yes.
fashion. I've loved the creativity.
Yes.
And I see that in her.
Yes.
And my husband didn't see her do it since she was a kid. So he just thinks this is temporary. And so he
Yes.
keeps trying to push her to all those safe professions.
Yep. Yep.
So what do you tell the people where they might not always be supported or have that support anywhere, and it's just them and their passions?
You know what? Follow your passion, yes. A backup is a good thing to have. It's never a bad thing. Get your education. I would never say not to finish school. That is never
Yes.
in this day and age, with all that's happening economically, you need to have a safeguard. So whether you start a business, whether you finish your education, go as high as you can. I mean, people like Lionel Richie, he is a graduate in economics. You know what I mean? So he knows how to manage his money. You see what I
Yeah.
mean? And a lot of people don't know that. He's a Tuskegee grad in economics. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. So get your education. You can still be doing your music on the side. I came up at a time where you were lucky because you could, devote that time to music. But now, whatever it is, if you're going to be a social media influencer, which is a business, whatever it
Yep.
is, have a backup. I encourage you to have that backup. And education is great because then you know how to speak, you know how to manage your money, you know how to walk through the world and embrace other people, other cultures. You can never have too much education, ever, ever.
That's why I keep
That's
telling
my
her, I'm
take.
like, I know you don't want to hear this, but I'm like, go slightly to the business side just to start
Yes,
out. Then you
yes,
already have the contacts and you can go, oh, I think I'm the right one for this particular gig. And you
absolutely.
can put your skills in there as you're learning the business and getting the money and having the contacts and the situations.
I have a niece that wants to do what I do. And
So,
I'm like, that is wonderful. I love that you want to follow in Auntie's
yeah.
steps. I said, but I want you to also take a legal course. I said, contract law. I said, so that no one can mess with you. I said, you can look over your own contracts, then give them to a lawyer. And when they do whatever, you can say, no, do this, fix this, add this.
Yeah.
You're in control. I said, so study law so that you know and can be in control of your career. I said,
I
learn
love
the
that.
writing, do the dancing, do all those things that you love, but have something that's underneath that to support you so that no one can mess with you. Very
And with
important.
with all that conversation of music and owning the rights, that is wonderful
Industry.
advice.
It's a hard industry. So,
Yeah.
law is not a bad way to go. So you could be an entertainment lawyer because that helps you also socialize within the scene. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So there's many ways you can do this. There's many
Yeah.
ways you can do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate this. Just listening to you, first starting out,
Oh,
it's not about you. And me learning that growing up speaks to the selflessness of that of what I'm hearing from you.
oh
Right.
yeah.
And I'm just sitting here like, oh, look at all these how these connections are. They live within each other. And
Yeah.
so I'm just sitting here smiling because my first degree was in fashion. And I
Ah,
remember, yes, and I remember when I kept saying, I want to go to school for fashion. I want to, same thing. My family was like, no, don't you want to go to, let's start with the community college. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want. And I didn't do well there. Some of it
yeah.
was on purpose. Some of
Yeah.
it was like, this is not what I want. But when I got to that
Exactly.
fashion school, it was like everything became alive. But
Everything
then, like,
clicks.
yes.
Yeah.
And then music, delving in music a little bit. So I'm like smiling, but and then what you said around the educational piece, and especially that whole intellectual property right
Yeah.
now, and having
Yeah.
that understanding of it all. So I listened to a little bit of the song, but I can't wait to hear the whole part of the
Yeah.
song.
It's
Because I
it's a
said,
powerful song.
yeah, and I'm like, well, she's talking about my background being in justice and advocacy and activism. I'm like,
Amazing.
well, she's talking about a movement, not just a moment, but a
Yes.
movement that she
Yes.
created with this song. So
Yes.
I'm super excited to hear the whole thing and hear some of your other
Awesome.
music as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
It's a lot of
yes.
house music.
Oh,
And dance.
wow.
House and dance. I've done a lot under different group names. So it was BKS is the one I started out with. Loving Wildlife, because I went on to do the theme song for Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, the original series on
Yeah.
NBC Bravo. So that was me singing All Things Just Keep Getting Better, you know, so in the background. So it's their theme song. And, you know, I've been around and done a lot of stuff. That's really
And
it.
you look great doing
Thank
it.
you.
So
You
that's
too.
the yes,
You
yes,
too.
yes, you look
We're,
great
we're
doing it.
keeping it together. We're keeping it together.
Girl, we don't
You
have a
know?
choice.
Right?
And when I heard you say grandmom in the house, I was like, there it is, grandmom.
Oh yeah.
I
My
just think when
grandmother.
people,
Yeah, my
yes,
grandmother was a wealth of love. That's
yes,
and we have a family T-shirt. We had a family get together years ago where everybody came from all over the world. We all went to Guyana, and the T-shirt said "Legacy of Love," and so it
yes,
had all the different families, and everybody was on. And it's so true to who I am. It's literally a legacy of love.
yes. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, and I know when I think of both of my grandmothers, that's the word that comes
Yes,
because of that. That's what they poured in from both sides.
absolutely.
And I use in the justice activism,
Mm.
my card that I usually hold is because I do a lot of racial justice, people
Ah,
kind of say one thing, but then I can pull out my other card because they don't know that my other grandma was full German. So I'm
wow.
like,
See?
baby, you can't pull that one on me because I can tell you about this side too, you know? So, yeah. So when I was listening, I
Exactly.
was relating to a lot of what you were
Absolutely.
saying. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize just how cross-cultural, particularly for Black families in the States, in the Caribbean, there's a lot of cross, you know, cultural ties. And it's not just one thing. Like again, for my family, predominantly a Black family, very proud of who we are and culture, color, all of it. But there are Germans, there are Chinese, there are, you know, we got everybody. And if you put us all in a room together, you just think it's people gathered and you're just like, you guys are related? Yeah. Like we got, as I said, we got from the lightest vanilla to the deepest chocolate, and it's all good and everything in between. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm proud of it. Very much so.
Can definitely relate.
See?
Yes. Yeah.
Of course.
Mhm.
I'm not alone in that. So that's a very
Yes.
common thing. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So we talked about singing, we talked about
Yeah.
fashion, we talked about shows, and you're constantly doing podcasts, and you're here with us today.
Yes.
What other ways have you decided to share this message of love and peace?
Wow. Well,
Together.
another language of love is food. I love to
Ooh.
cook. I don't really broadcast that, but I do love to cook a lot, and that's one of my, I guess, my love languages. For me, it's like when I cook something, I see you put that fork to your mouth and you go, I'm like, yes, like that's a thing for me, and again, that's probably coming from the Caribbean heritage as well, because it's like food.
What's your favorite thing? What's your favorite
For
thing that
me,
cooks?
I love curry and roti. That's one of my favorites because whenever I'd be coming home from tour, I'd call my mom. I'm like, Mom, can you make some curry and roti, some chicken curry? She'd say, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'd walk in the home and the whole house would smell of it because she just made it. So for me, that represents love. It represents safety. It represents home and caring, So I would say it's probably one of my most favorite things because of my mom, So yeah, that's it. Food is a big thing for me.
So when are we invited to your house?
No, we're gonna have to work on that. We're gonna have to work on that.
Hey,
Absolutely.
yes,
I just saw
yes.
some people yesterday and I bought them somewhere I bought them some doubles and some curry and roti, and they were like, this is awesome. And I'm like, I always love to share the culture, because if you haven't tried it before, then you try it now, you're like, this is good. I'm like, open up, go to a Caribbean store, go buy some stuff. Don't
Yes.
don't be shy.
Yes. Yes.
Don't
yes,
be shy.
yes.
Go and enjoy. Life is for living,
Mhm, mhm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We have a rule in our house now that every time I go grocery shopping, I have to buy one thing that we
Okay.
have not tried before.
Okay.
Because I used to be able to burn boiled hot dogs and boiled eggs. And, and then I had a daughter. And I was like, I should probably learn to cook so I don't kill her. So
That would be good.
Yes.
Dying
now
is
I'm
not
having
an
a lot of
option.
fun.
Dying is
No.
not an option. No, definitely not.
She
Definitely not.
used to make fun of my cooking, but now it's this lovely time to spend together and learn
Yes.
and grow together and just have that comfort, just like the food
Yes.
that you were talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And then with me, with all the travel, I've tried so many different cultures and different flavors, and sometimes I kind of fuse that all together and create things. And
Yep.
I think it's just a reflection of the life I've led and the people I've met and the cultures I've come in contact with, and all of it. So if I go somewhere and I taste something and I'm like, I think I can make that. I'm like, what is that? Okay, and then I'll make it exactly, or I will make something in the ballpark of it, because
Yep.
I'm craving those flavors, and it
Mhm.
reminds me of a beautiful moment I had wherever I was. So that's just it. Yeah.
So if you could share your message in any way, like genie in a bottle, we're rubbing a lamp, okay, doing a little light switch, everything is perfectly aligned and will work out for you.
Okay.
What's a way that you haven't shared your message that you would love to share your message?
I don't think there's a way I haven't shared my message.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way I haven't shared. I think maybe more songwriting. I
Okay.
think that's maybe what I have to do. But I think it's an active thing for me. It's daily. It's
Yeah.
not just on stage. It's in how I interact with people. It's
Mhm.
it's a daily thing. I don't really think about it. It's just who I am.
Yeah.
So how I interact in the world with people. I believe now more than ever, things like when you're out at a store or you bump into someone, give a little kindness. Right now, people need kindness. We're all very sensitive right now. We need kindness. It's a simple smile. It's a hello. It's a compliment, because you can literally turn someone's day around. And I know I sound mushy and gushy and,
No,
it's
you're
all
right
perfect.
aligned here.
It is so important right now for people's mental health to show a little bit of kindness.
Yeah.
Hi, oh my gosh, open a door, help a senior, do something nice, for someone in some way. You're in the Timmy's line, pay for the person's order behind you. If you can't afford to say how much, here, I'm going to pay, they'll pay the rest. Find a way to do something nice for someone, even if it's in your family, you haven't spent time with them, take a moment. This is a family weekend. Spend some time with them. Pull your kids and go, okay, you know what? You're going to start cooking with me. We're going to spend some time together. I'm not just going to cook and you eat. We're going to do this together. Find a way to show kindness. We need this right now. I think that as human beings, we have more power than we give ourselves credit for. And if we choose and make a very conscious decision to be good to each other, that can outweigh and outpower any evil, any darkness that is out there. We have the power to do that. We don't have to turn on the news. We don't have to get sucked into the vortex of negativity that we're seeing. We can be the change, and that is a very serious thing. Be kind to someone. Show kindness to everybody that you meet as much as you can. I'm not saying throw yourself in front of a car, you know what I mean? But I'm saying just be kind. Be conscious of the fact that there are people around you. Everyone you walk past, everyone you meet is going through something. No matter how perfect their life looks, they are dealing with an issue, and everybody's mental health is on the edge right now. Every single one of us. Be kind to someone. That's it. That's it.
Would you say that mental health has become something that you're more focused on, since it is along the lines of the love, the togetherness, the peace?
Oh yeah. What I do, what I sing helps people in that moment. And literally every time I perform, someone will come up to me and tell me a story about how that song helped them. So that's what I'm saying. I minister through that to people. Literally, I didn't even realize that's what it was until years later. And I'm like, literally every show, someone has a story about, I was going through a divorce. I was having a hard time at school. I lost my job. And I played this song. This is what helped me. There was a time where we were in Niagara, and I got a message backstage saying, could you dedicate the song to my boyfriend? He's a quadriplegic. He just was in a bad accident. And I went to the door. I met the girl. I said, absolutely. And when we started to sing Superstar, they wheeled him right up to the front. And they said that was the only thing that was getting him through his physio. That was the only thing that was getting him to get up, because he had lost hope. Hearing that song was what got him to physio every day. And I sang it too. I bent right over him and sang and held his. It was such a powerful moment for me, because in that moment I really saw what this song does for people. That was the moment where I was like, oh wow, it's not about me. It literally is not about me. My mom's always like, you're the vessel that comes through. It is not about you. It's not. And now, even more so, 30 years later, almost 30 years later, it's not about me, and it's not about the group. It is the people's anthem. That's what I refer to it as. It is your anthem. It is not about me. I'm here to sing it for you. Sing it with me. This is our moment to release. This is our moment to connect. This is your moment. It's all about you. So that's it. It's not about me.
I love that I love that you use the words release and connect.
Yeah.
Because everything that I do has been rooted in mental health because of my own mental health journey.
Yes.
So most of what I'm trying to do is get people to come out of fear and get into that emotional place of courage. And what that really means is, how do we get them to go from that place of feeling hopeless to having enough hope that they start taking action on something that's going to get them some sort of momentum in a general direction that is better than where they were before.
I think having a strong unit of family and friends as a support is a big help to people like that. Because then you have a circle of trust of people that love you and genuinely care for you. Because you can get caught up in the noise of, depending on the situation, of what people are saying or what you think people are saying, or if they're laughing at you or whatever. It's like, block out the noise and focus on the circle of love around you. Focus on the people that matter, who care about you and what they're saying to you and how they're trying to raise you up and to heal you. That's where you need to shift your focus to. Forget the world. There'll always be someone who's got a smart comment or something to say. That you can't control what people say, but you can control how you react to it. You can control what you internalize that and make it part of who you are. Block it. Block it. You create your bubble. You create your world. You create your existence. Once you gather your strength, you move forward, and then be that help to someone else.
I'm just going to show my mug here for a second. It says
joy. That has been a theme for me this week. Joy. Yeah.
Has it?
Yeah. And many conversations this week with friends and things. I said, you have to find a moment of joy, because the last couple of weeks I have been overwhelmed with so much going on that I'm like, I got to find a moment of joy. I got to breathe.
Yeah.
I have to take a moment, because I was exhausted. You know, for pretty much the last 3 weeks straight, I've been going, go, 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 and it hasn't stopped. I'm going right into next week. And I'm like,
Yep.
joy,
Yep.
gotta find a moment. So this weekend for me, I'm going to try to find moments of joy, you know, and
Oh.
just be in the moment wherever I am and block out the rest of my week and go, you know what? We're timing out. Yesterday I had to time out. I was that overwhelmed and that exhausted that I had to time out. I was on the train and just like, oh my God, I'm so tired. That's all that was going through my brain is I was falling asleep. I was so exhausted, physically and mentally exhausted. And I'm like, I got to time out. I got to find time for joy.
I
That's
so
it.
appreciate you taking the time to come here and be here with us and saying yes to
Oh, thank you for
being here.
having me.
Of course.
Absolutely.
To know too, Miss Simone, you flowed right with. I'm just thinking about George starting it right
Yep.
off, you know, and
Right.
how
Okay.
yes, how he projects his healing in another form, and now how
Yeah.
yours comes through your music, even your mindset, right? And we
Yeah.
talk about money mindset. I'm listening to
Yes.
your mindset and
Yeah.
your thoughts and your beliefs and how they shape who you are, and how
Yeah.
they not only shape who you are, but how you're being used to bring impact upon
It has
people.
to.
And even calling food your love language.
Oh, yeah.
Right, speaking that language of love, and how that's a form of healing all within itself as well.
Absolutely.
I'm just sitting
Absolutely.
here. I love, Laura, with the things when I watch some of the shows,
Yeah.
how there's this thread that
Always.
weaves through,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
From each person to each person. And even just like you said too, Simone, with the little things. I was going to the line the other day just to get a smoothie, and it was
Yeah.
myself and my supervisor. And this man just all of a sudden he says, "It looks like you're working. I'm not doing anything today. Please go ahead of me." And I was just like, he doesn't even know we got to get back. We got to do some stuff. You know, she got meetings. I got other things. And I just was like, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Just
those
a
little
kind
things.
gesture.
Just
Yes.
kindness. It's not
Yes.
hard. It is one of the
Yes.
easiest things in the world to do is just to be kind to someone. You can look
Yes.
sometimes and see if someone is in a sad place. You know, say
Yes.
something nice. It's like, oh my gosh, I love your shoes. They're so pretty. Oh, I love that bag.
Yes.
You know, like just that one thing. Somebody says, oh my God, they noticed me. Oh my gosh, they said something kind. Or just say, whatever you're going through, you're going to get through it. It's going to be okay.
Yes.
You know, I don't know what's happening with you, but you're going to be okay. Be there for somebody. Don't drown in the negativity. Right now, there is too much happening in the world that is
Yes.
pulling us under. And I think what saddens me is I see people succumbing to it. You know, turning out
Yes.
the racism, the hatred, the just all of it. And it's just, why would you want to give in to something like that? We're
Yes.
better than that. Most of us are raised better than that. We know better than that. You can't just decide, well, my life sucks and I'm going to make everybody else angry around me. That's so selfish, you know? And it means that you don't know how to process the feelings or the pain that you're going through. It doesn't mean you pass that on and literally throw it up on everybody. It's like,
Yes.
come on, if you've got a problem, talk to somebody. Say, please, I need help. I'm having dark thoughts. I'm having a problem. Reach out to someone. If you don't want to have a family member or a friend, you can do that. There are call the hospital, say, I need help. I need to talk to a therapist. Can somebody help me? You don't stop until you find what you need to sustain you and get you through. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to take care of you if you can't have somebody take care of you. But for God's sake, be kind to people. We all need it. All of us need it right now.
So we have about
so now than ever.
We have about 60 seconds left of the main interview. I just want to make sure that we know, where can we find you, Simone, and what is your favorite way to communicate?
Instagram. I'm on TikTok, but I don't really TikTok. You know, so that my Instagram would be the best place to find me. And even then, I'm not really a social media person, but you can get me there. You can get me on my website, SimoneDenny.com. I can't think of any others, but I think that's the main ones right now. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Sounds
it.
good.
Yeah.
And then we have a little bit of time, about 45 seconds or so. I like to hold space just in case there's something on your mind or in your heart that you want to share. So what would you love to leave people with?
Reach for the sky and hold your head up high, for tonight and every night. You're a superstar. And don't you be afraid. Think of all the friends you made. Like any other night, you got your name in lights. You're a superstar. There you go.
I love
Mwah.
you so much.
Oh, don't cry.
You're gonna make me cry.
Make me cry. Don't cry.
Simone, just real quick, I want you to know when I first came on today with Laura, she's like, listen, I have a friend that's coming here. She's a musician, and I'm super excited to invite you into this space with her. So just know she has been super excited to have you today.
Beautiful.
And I'm grateful to share that space as well. Yes,
Beautiful.
thank you.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad I wasn't able to be in contact with you because life was nuts.
Oh,
But
I know.
I was like, I will not be late. I will be on time. I will be there. I am here.
I so appreciate you. I will call this the end of the main portion of the interview.
Right.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. I
Have a
do
great
invite you to
weekend,
stick
ladies.
around for about 3.5 minutes-ish, because this is the time that we use to play for social media.
Okay.
So we kind of tease the interview a little. We're like, what can we say? What I usually ask is, what's something that stood out to you? So I'm actually going to start with Dr. Angeline right now.
Okay.
Dr. Angeline, what is something that stood out to you during our conversation with Simone?
One thing is that the words she chose, I could tell just from the first time meeting her and hearing from her, they were 3 of the best words to speak up about who she is. And that I knew I was going to like her when she said, it's not about us.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was always taught. And I knew right then and there, oh, I think she and I will click. That's what stood out. Yes.
Absolutely.
What about you, Simone? What's one thing that stood out to you today?
Wow. Just meeting you ladies. And I think beautiful, positive energy. I think that the overall flow of the interview was just very positive, and I like to be in that. So that was it. Yeah.
Awesome. Aw, I so
The
appreciate
whole
that.
thing from beginning to end, I think, was great. And it's just very positive. And as you know, I'm all about that.
Yep. The one thing that stood out to me is, how many times do we hear from everybody, do not meet your idols? Okay, well, today I actually got to have more than a teaching you about mindfulness conversation on Instagram kind of conversation.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me how much we actually have in common and how wonderful of a human being you are, and not just the things that you put out into the world.
Okay. I'm not perfect.
No. But there's so many parallels about why I would idolize you.
Oh, please don't.
And
we're friends.
No. Not like put you on a pedestal, you're the best person ever, but like, I'm not that type of person. I don't have that type of relationship. It's like, out of the people that I have seen in my life everywhere, I adore your energy the most. And I think I've stuck around with you for decades because of it. But I've realized it's because you boldly share the things that I have not boldly let myself share. And so to see you be all of you with the same values means so much. And I so appreciate you for it.
You know what? I have been through a lot. I'm a cancer survivor as well, so,
But that's what makes you real.
But that is what makes us real. I've had family members who are going through illness. I've there's so much. And like I said, I come from a family, my grandmother's love, my mom's love. That's what sustains me. And they've been my biggest supporters and gotten me through so much that the positivity you feel from me comes from that legacy of love and that support, and them telling me, come on, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, you're going to be fine. Because I have been through very hard times, very, very difficult. I just don't talk about it, but I've been through, I don't feel the need to burden people with that on a daily basis, but I know that I can use that and process that into a positive thing to be a strength to other people. It's like, get where you are. I know where you've been. When my grandmother passed, that was like one of the hardest things I've ever been through in my life. I didn't think I was a depressed person, but I was so severely depressed when she passed because she'd been in my life since I was 4 and always lived with us and was so part of my daily life that I stopped singing. I just started working in retail because I realized I was depressed, and I'm like, I'm starting to withdraw. If I'm not around people, something is not going to go well for me. And it was while working in retail, and people recognized me, and I was just like, I just don't care. I don't care because I know I have to be out. If I stay home, I'm not going to do well. And it's what got me through was interacting with people. And eventually they started to tell me their problems. I remember there was one time I was working in clothing, and these ladies was a New Year's Eve, and these ladies were all plus size women, all in the dressing room, all freaking out and panicking because they had a date. They all had dates for New Year's and were so worried about being heavy and curvy and what the man was going to think. And I was like, girl, he's asked you out on a date. He already knows what you look like.
He loves the curves.
Like, he's into the curves. Go out and enjoy yourself. And they all were like, blink, blink, blink. Oh my God, you're right. I'm like, stop. It was like a full therapy session. I was like, stop the madness. I said, you are putting way too much pressure. I said, you think you can hide that? He can see you're curvy.
Yeah.
So not all men need a size 2. Go and enjoy yourself. I said, all I ask is that you come back and tell me how the date went. The next time they came in the shop, they're like, it was awesome. I'm like, thank you. Just go. I said, you're not getting married. Just go on the date and have fun. Like, just stop. You know, so that's what I'm saying. I just use the things I've gone through, and I've had those same, insecurities as well. I get it. I understand depression. I understand insecurity. I understand illness. I get it. I've lived it. Let me help you. And I don't wait for you to ask me. Sometimes I can just see it in the person, and I'm like, are you okay? You know what I mean? Let me say a kind word and go,
Done that to me.
Sorry?
I said, you've done that to me.
There you go.
I love you too.
Good. Yeah, it's like you look good. You're fine. You're going to get through this. I don't know what you're going through, but whatever it is, this too shall pass. And you gotta, you just gotta manifest it in positivity. You have to. Yeah.
So Simone, I do have to say goodbye. This was such a lovely interview. I so appreciate you.
My pleasure. So
much
nice
love.
meeting you.
Yeah. We will see. Will we talk again soon?
Of course. You know where to find me.
Oh,
bye,
of
ladies.
course.
Have a beautiful weekend. Bye-bye.
You too.
Bye.
You too. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have our next guest in the background. Maria, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. Awesome. I'm in tears. I'm not crying. You're crying. Okay. Welcome back, Maria. I think we just need and you talk about grief, which is wonderful. So
I know
that will blend right in.
I was just listening to Simone, and when she had said about accept your curves or things like that, and I'm like, wow, still to this day, I find I'm body conscious.
Yes.
And it's this taught thing that we have, that it's ingrained almost of what that expectation of what an ideal woman is. And we're like, seriously, there is no such thing as an ideal woman.
But if I just didn't have this one acne down there, then I would be perfect and everyone would love me. Okay.
Yeah, and we'd find another sort of aspect. I mean, I know I always tell people I worked hard for my wrinkles.
Okay, I love my little laugh lines. We're going to go off on a tangent, then we'll come back with the normal question. But you know how they are like, don't smile too much. You're going to get the laugh lines. And I'm like, I want all the laugh lines. I want people to know that I laughed so much that I have such big crow's feet because I was happy. It was proof that I was happy. Okay. So Maria, I know that you know how this works. I like to shake things up at the very beginning because I want to know you as a human being, and I don't want you to ever feel used for the things that you know and the skills that you have, because you're a human being first. So here's my opening question. If you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Oh, 3 words. Okay. Rooted.
Ooh.
New one, huh?
Mhm. It is.
Yeah. Bold.
Ooh. Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think of how to say it in one word. When speaking your mind or truth. How about that?
Speaking your
I mean, that was the 3 words right there.
minds. I know. But it's the energy behind the words, right?
Yeah.
So whether we come up with the perfect word to describe it or not doesn't matter. It's the energy. Because I will tell you a bit of a secret, which is going to go into my keynote, is when I keep asking this question, especially with the change makers in the world, I'm trying to see if there are patterns, not in the words themselves, but in the energy behind the words, which is why I keep telling you it's not the words, it's the energy behind. And what I'm seeing is a pattern of 3 general energies. The first one is basically saying, I want you to feel safe around me.
Mm-hmm.
May not be in this order. And so we choose many different words to describe that. You described it as rooted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes me feel safe being around you. Cool. The next word tends to have some sort of energy around trust. So you said bold. You're bold. Okay, that could be a way that I trust you. And this isn't for everyone, but at least I'm going to get one of those for every single person. And then the last one tends to describe the energy that we want people to understand they'll have in our awareness, in working with us and playing with us, whatever. And you said speaking your mind and truth. Okay, I can expect that from you. That's an energy.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not be like every single person perfectly aligned, but that's the gist of it, is we're wanting people to go, hey, I'm safe. Hey, you can trust me. And hey, here's the type of person that I am and how we're going to interact together. So I think it's really fun.
That is.
Yeah. So how do these 3 words, rooted, bold, and speaking your mind or speaking your truth, I love those. Those are new. How do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
Well, one, and this is what I'm finding the more that I'm doing speaking, is the rootedness is about rooted in my purpose and my mission.
Ooh.
Right? It's because my message is about healing isn't forgetting.
Ooh.
It's caring, love, and loss in the same breath. And that is my core message, especially in grief and loss, but in life, really. Because a lot of times we are taught that healing means either forgetting or moving on. It's almost like once we heal, we'll forget about what happened. Or it never happened, right? All of a sudden, magically, it's like, it's gone. Don't ever think about it. It's, it's forgotten. And a lot of times these memories stay with us. Our bodies hold them. Not even just our memories. It's our body holds on to them. And when we see that we're rooted in love for ourselves, love for others, and loss happens every single day, even to us, every single day. And a lot of times people will equate loss with the death of a person, but it's not. Losses are little things that either happen suddenly or else is that slow drip.
Oh, yeah.
And we're breathing it in the same breath. We breathe. So we are carrying it in that same breath.
Love. And then I have to let go of my breath, the loss of it, in order to love again. Inhale. I get that for sure.
I love that. Inhale.
Yeah, the inhale is the love. And that's what I do every time I meditate is I'm like, okay, how can I breathe in the energy and breathe in the love from everything around me? And then that fresh love, that fresh air, like cleans me in my system and I lose. I don't use the word lose, but really that's what it is I'm cleaning myself. I'm losing the things that I don't want. I'm letting go. And then it helps me feel a little lighter. And then, and only then, can I breathe back in again. Because if I'm constantly doing this, and it just like, you're so tight and tense. And that's when my husband calls it the exhale, where you're like finally letting go and being able to breathe again.
The release.
I like that. Yeah. I like how it all connects. Welcome back, Dr. Angeline. We're talking about grief with Maria.
I was listening. Trust me. I made sure I could hear. And I was like, oh my God, I'm loving that.
We can't quite hear you. You may have to come a little closer.
Oh, I have no idea why.
Is there a beeping in the background? Oh.
No.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Kind of. It's as if your microphone is saying that you are a background noise. You know how it like mutes things?
Okay, let's see.
Like the echo.
It also tells me you're on mute for some reason.
No,
Try that.
now I just did it to see
Oh.
if it worked. Is that better?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
fine.
all I did was go back on mute and come back off. So it helped. But I was enjoying the healing doesn't forget in this whole slow drip. And again, how it was stated, I don't know who said it again, about what we hold in our bodies. Like, this whole theme today is just so powerful for me because it's where I've been all week. And I'm like, wow. And really more than all week. I've been processing so much lately, or trying to just take that time to go inward and process several different things that are showing up for me. And some of it was grief. The residue of grief, the residue of moments, and thinking that here's a question, like, how do you continue to deal with those residue moments when you think that you're past the grieving process? You know, because I've heard people say, you're still grieving about that? Like, you know, that, and I'm like, well, is there a magic number that sometime that I shouldn't be? Like, let me know, because maybe I missed the memo. But yeah, so I just been, it's just a lot of stuff that's been coming up recently that I'm trying to process. So the healing doesn't forget, and that whole slow drip kind of took me to the residue that I find myself sometimes, I'm finding myself in this moment carrying around a situation. So, yeah.
Yeah. I firmly believe that grief never leaves us. It walks with us. And it's the choice that we can make, either walking side by side by it or hand by hand, or when we feel that we want to run away from it. And running away means that if we keep ourselves busy, if we do everything and keep like fixing it, it'll eventually go away. And I love how you said, is there a magic number? Like, where's the memo that said when it disappears? It really doesn't. And through my own experience, what I ended up forming are the pillars of care, in the sense of giving ourselves the compassion whenever we have these recurring, right? And I love how you said the residue. And that's why I kind of say, in regards to things stay with us, even our experiences or events that happened in childhood, whether that memory was correct or not, it's how we viewed it. And I think a lot of times we make ourselves wrong because we feel that we've seen it from our perspective. And that's the only perspective we have. And so when we can give ourselves compassion for saying, okay, this is how I saw it, this is what I felt, and that's okay. It's neither more than or less than. It's not making ourselves feeling broken or that we need to be fixed. It's just saying, it's okay. It happened. I can't change what happened. And I think that's the thing sometimes. Our minds want to give us control to say, we could go back and fix it. There's a better way of doing it. And in reality, is there really? We only have what we know. And everything else that we think we know is actually hindsight. As we grow, we evolve. And in that, yes, we learn new tools. We learn new language. We learn a different way of being. Doesn't make anything better or worse. It's just different.
I can't remember the word that you said. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch our interview because I don't know if you'll remember too. You said, this is how I saw it. And then you framed it in a way that I had never thought of before. And so my brain is trying to like grab onto it so that I can process it, but it's gone. Because it's like a new perspective. It was something along the lines of not just us saying that everybody's perspective matters, because we hear it that way so often. But you just said it slightly differently, that my brain was like, ooh, we need to grab onto that.
Yeah, when you find it, let me know.
And that's why it's gone. And that's why I need to go back and watch. But I like, okay, there's a better way of doing it. That was like a reference to the thing that I need to go back and remember.
Okay, because it's so true, right? We go around caring about, we have to fix ourselves. I mean, I was doing that for many years, believing that who I wasn't perfect enough, wasn't the right person to be. And realistically, who is the judge that says who you're supposed to be? And that's one of the, I think on the third word I went, to be bold and to speak our truths, is because we have to, well, I feel I have to, in the sense of our experiences shape us. They don't define us, they do shape us. And we have to get to the point where we know that we are enough. Because a lot of times we are struggling with being enough, being worthy, because of our experiences or the events, or even someone just saying a little word and how we perceived it or how we heard it. And then we've internalized it. We've made meaning out of something that in reality has no meaning. It's a word of what someone else had thought and had spoken. Does not necessarily mean it's the truth. And we have to see our own truth in saying, I am worthy. I am enough because I exist. And so many times we make either our roles or what we do, we give ourselves labels. And at times it's like, it's just be. Be into who you're becoming, like become. And I don't know what the becoming means or who I'm going to become.
Yeah.
And that's okay to sit in that.
When I first started working on worthiness and feeling enoughness, and that idea that just existing makes me worthy, it made me so frustrated because in my mind, it was the same thing as people telling me to let go. And I'm like, how do I let go? I don't even know what it means, let alone how to do it. And all you're telling me is just let go, just let go. How? And it would just be this mental spiral of frustration. And so the whole worthiness and enoughness of telling people you're worthy just because you exist, it at first put me in that same frustration spiral of, but why? Why am I worthy just because I exist? Why am I enough just because I exist? So can you tell us from your frame of reference and your perspective what that part means to you?
Okay. And the way to say it is that, so my son at 16 was diagnosed with an incurable blood cancer.
Oh.
So for 11 years, we had, the hospital rooms, the treatments, surgeries, crises after crises of not knowing what's next. Okay. To the rest of the world, he looked fit. He looked like he walked out of a GQ magazine, because what he could control was his appearance. What was happening underneath, the struggle of what the cancer did, no one could see. I mean, I always say his friends would say all the girls wanted to date him, all the guys wanted to be him. And when he died, my old wounds of not being enough, not being worthy popped up. Because all of a sudden, it was like, if I was enough, he wouldn't have died. If I was worthy, this wouldn't have happened. So the events of my childhood, of things that I had internalized of not being worthy, of not being enough, came up after he died. And even beforehand, how many times have we gone to take courses, programs, anything for self-development to fix ourselves so that way we are worthy, we're enough, right? And there's a difference between learning a skill and internalizing that we are not enough and we're not worthy. And when it came up, when he had died, and I even had, and for confirmation, I had made myself believe I was a bad mother because I had not taken my children when they were small to Disneyland.
I get where you're coming from, but yeah.
Was my confirmation of a terrible parent, right? I mean, here's this imaginary mouse, giant imaginary mice, that is telling a parent whether they're good or not, worthy, not being enough and not being worthy can do. Like grief and loss get mixed up in the old wounds and can take something that is insignificant and just blow it out of proportion. Yeah. And when I'm saying this out loud, you can hear the silliness, the ridiculousness out of it. When I kept it as an internal, it stayed with me for years. That's sort of the difference. When we can release it from our bodies, we can see that, wow, if someone else had told me that, I would have said, seriously, come on. And yet to our own selves, we are our most worst critic.
Yep. Ooh, I think I'm having a bit of a mental reframe right now. Because, okay, I'm like, frame it for everybody else in the split second that it all connected for me. When we say nice things about ourselves, for some reason, we don't want to believe that. When other people say nice things about us, we try to believe that. So in my brain, what had happened was it was saying, I am worthy of all things positive, and worthiness just means a self-confirmation of the things that I want to be aligned with the best, my favorite, whatever word you want to put on that, version of myself, because she's always there. To be that version or not, it's still there. And so that version of me is always worthy of the good things from myself and other people. Therefore, even on a day where I don't think that I'm that version of me, I'm still worthy because she's still worthy. Like, oh, I like this reframe. Okay, my brain has connected a little more to this. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Level up. Yay. Okay.
And
that makes it so much better.
And I think that's the aspect. We look for outside, like exterior.
Yeah.
People telling us that we're worthy. And you're right. When people say some nice things, we look at it and we're like, yeah, are you really seeing the real me? Like, seriously, if you knew me. And at times, what I find is at times when we don't look at ourselves in the mirror and we just sit with ourselves, we actually can hear our whispers of the heart. It's when we look in the mirror is when we start finding flaws. Now, I know that there is an exercise that people can do with the mirror work, and that is very deep. I've tried it, and I couldn't finish it because there are things that I think there are events and experiences from our past that in some ways are still, they're old wounds that we have repressed.
Yeah.
And at times, it's like that. I always use an onion, and I didn't realize it was a vegetable. Isn't that funny? I cook with onions all the time, and I never thought of it as a vegetable.
Yep. It's just an onion.
I know. And at time, and I guess that's the same thing. Like as humans, we label each other rather than saying it's an onion. Like, why do I need to put it into the fruit or a vegetable item aspect? It's an onion. However, the onion has different layers. Some are thicker, some are thin, and some are like that thin film. And at times, that is exactly as humans, we have layers of different wounds that we are carrying.
Yeah.
And when we're ready, they can be released. And sometimes we're still holding on to them because that's our belief.
Now, I know that you and I talked. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Angeline.
Sometimes we're still holding on to them because it's our sanctuary and we're not ready to fully be free. Right? And I've seen that as well. It's that safe space. But if I let go that unknown, that the pain of that wound, I'm really going to have to deal with. Right? Whatever happens afterwards. So I do want to thank you for your story, for sharing your story as well. And you also said something about the 4 pillars of care. Did I miss that when I was away?
She didn't name them.
I didn't name them.
Okay. Okay. Well, can we get the other 3?
Definitely. So care is what I came out of my own experience. So I use it as an acronym. So care is C, compassion for self. A is acknowledgement of your thoughts and your feelings without judgment, right? Because we always judge our thoughts and feelings, and yet they have no meaning behind them. R is the release of the guilt, the regret, and the shame that we hold on to. E is embracing who you are being right now and who you are becoming. And this is one of the tools that I use when I'm working with the grief. They're not like stages. It's a guide or a compass. And it's a daily practice. Because it's not like a one and done. We have to give ourselves compassion just about every single moment. And the same thing, when we acknowledge, we have thoughts constantly that come into our minds. And they actually say from thousands of thoughts that we have, the majority are negative. I've come to a point now when my mind is actually blank. In the sense of when I'm not doing something, if I'm not thinking or anything like that, it is just blank. Like there's no thoughts that come in.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Oh, give me some of that up here.
Yeah. And it didn't happen overnight. It happened as I was practicing my pillars of care as my compass. And all of a sudden, as someone kind of goes, those itty bitty little thoughts that come up like those gremlins become quieter. Because and especially when we start seeing our own worth and we're worthy, the thoughts start quieting, the negative thoughts. And so even with the release, how much we blame ourselves for so much that sometimes it is beyond our control.
Yeah.
And the same thing, I mean, regret really sometimes is, again, hindsight. We can only regret that what we see in the future when we look in the past. And sometimes the regret is something that we had no control over either. So a lot of times our mind wants to give us control that we never had.
Stop putting puzzle pieces together in my brain. Okay.
I think about your mug too, Laura, when you held up that mug, Joy. Because we were, a friend of mine, we were talking one day about, well, what is the difference between happiness and joy? And when I'm thinking even of what you're saying and the different steps and the different levels to being and becoming, it reminds me of, for me, it reminds me of happiness and joy. I think of happiness as a state of mind and joy as a state of being. And I have to go through the happy to I'm now being. Yes. It's now become my state of being, so that in no matter what happens, right? Because one minute we could be happy to find joy in a space where I am worthy, where no matter what happens, whether I'm happy today, not happy tomorrow, I can still be joyful because I know that I still am enough. I know that I still am showing up, that no matter what happens, it may not be my fault. It might be my fault. Life happens. And so how am I going to internalize daily what's happening? Now, I have to get there. I'm going to make that a part of the joy part. So,
and I love, Dr. Angelina, how you actually said joy is a state of being. It really is. Joy comes from within us.
yes.
No one can take that. And a lot of times, I think when we think of happiness, when we think of it as a state of mind, it's like we have to work or achieve it. I mean, right? I think there's that book or something that's called The Pursuit of Happiness.
Yes.
Why do we need to go after something? And one of the things that I think when we look at even the pillars of care, it doesn't take away that things will still happen. I think a lot of times when we think of success, and I loved how even at the beginning you said I didn't get the memo, or maybe that was Simone that said I didn't get the memo.
No, it's me. Yes.
And it's about, at times we feel that we miss that memo because sometimes our lives don't go as planned. We fail, and we make failure something like we have to hide and be ashamed of and guilty over, rather than saying, yeah, okay, that didn't work. Yeah, I did this and didn't pan out. And being okay with that and saying it's okay to fail. Because I think one of the words, and I still haven't figured out what does it mean to fail forward. Right? I mean, and sometimes I'm thinking, why do I need to even figure it out? Yeah, I'm one of these ones that it's kind of like, I'm not going down.
So many rabbit holes.
Right?
So
Well, it is. We could be digging up rabbit holes all the time and going from one to the next to the next. And then we end up not being, because we're still searching for that perfection, searching for that solution, searching for how to fix my brokenness. And we don't never stop to realize, to say, I am not broken. I am a human that, yes, sometimes falls, and then I pick myself up again. Sometimes makes mistakes. Sometimes says the wrong words. And that's where compassion comes in, and acknowledgement. And even just in 1 minute, you can have all four.
Right. Right. But I love how you also talked about and brought up the book, The Pursuit of Happiness. Even in that, it's laborious, right? It's labor in that. Why am I putting labor into being, right? When I don't know, you got me. I'm like you now, Laura. I'm starting to process a lot of this now. Yeah. But yeah, that was the first thing when you said that came up. Like, that's labor. That's work. And I mean, I know that we're constantly working on ourselves, but working to be happy when I can already exist as enough in a space of joy, right? I think that's a healing, healthy space.
One of the things that I always like, joy is actually simple. Joy, and as you said, there's no labor to joy. Joy is enjoying I mean, I always use coffee as an example.
So does Laura.
No, water.
Oh, you're having water.
Okay, can you imagine this on coffee?
Well, coffee is actually very relaxing. It's very,
Mushroom
I
coffee.
always call it, coffee is zen.
No, me on caffeine or any stimulant, like, no.
No. Okay.
And that's the beauty sometimes when we're looking at joy and the simplicity of it. Because joy could be admiring a single flower or a field of flowers. Enjoying the view of when we see, okay, so I'm on the west coast of Canada, so we have shades of green.
Okay.
Shades of green.
I know, but a lot of people that come to visit BC will go, I never knew that green came in so many different shades. And you're like, seriously?
Right.
I'm very confused.
And the same thing. I mean, it is fall now. Depending on the trees, the leaves are changing. We see the different yellows, the oranges, the reds. And there's joy in saying that we can see color. We can distinguish between the different shades and just sit and enjoy it. Or enjoying the ocean or the sky. And the aspects of joy don't really cost anything.
And that's where I get high in life, is because there's so much beauty everywhere in the subtleties people don't generally look at. It's just, I could look out my window all day and just watch the leaves and the sky and all the stuff. It's beautiful. And the sparkles, that's what I call it. Especially the ocean. Water sparkles everywhere. It's okay. We're gonna run out of time. Maria, I want to know where to find you. It went so quickly. And what your favorite way to communicate is.
Okay. So I put down my website, mariabelanic.com. I had to put it down so that way the spelling.
Where did you put it?
Under my name. It's my name. Does it say Maria Belanic?
I was like, I don't see it in the chat. Okay. I get it now. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, go on my website and then they can reach me through there. It's the easiest. And really it's about coach. I always go coach. It sounds challenging when we say coaching. It's more of a guiding of someone who has experienced loss and grief. And it's not something that's recent, because even with grief, we can hold on to it. It is staying with our body because no one's ever had the opportunity to express themselves or to be witnessed. And that's the aspect that I want to give people, is holding space so that way they can share the losses that they've had in a way that feels safe for them and in an environment that is trusted, where there's no fixing, because there is nothing brokenness. It's a way to release what's being held in the body, to give freedom, and to listen to the heart, whispers of the heart.
Yeah. This is why I love chatting with you. Okay. So with about the, 45 seconds we have left, what would you love to leave people with today?
That you are enough and that you are worthy. I think there's so many of us that feel broken, and we're not. We are worthy. And that's what I want to leave people. You are not alone. There is support.
Okay, I had another little mental thing which I'll have to share in our next little portion. But I had another insight of what I learned. I'm going to write it down. I will call this the official close to the main portion of the interview. Thank you so much, Maria. I just want to make sure that gets in on time. Cool. Okay, before I forget, sorry, usually I let everybody else go first, but my brain needs to grasp things. So if I build something magnificent out of Lego and we think of it as beautiful, as worthy, as wonderful, as enough, and then it falls on the floor, it's still made up of the same pieces. It's all still there. It may be quote unquote broken, but it's not, because we can always rebuild it. It's still worthy, just as the Lego pieces. It's still enough, just as the Lego pieces. And I can always rebuild it and rebuild it differently if I so choose.
Love that.
That was good.
Okay, sorry. I had to get that out right away. Dr. Angeline, can you share one thing that stood out to you during our conversation with Maria today?
So first of all, I felt like I was in therapy, which is not a bad thing, because I must have needed it today. Because all these things again are healing, emotions, all of this kind of stuff has been the whole day. And so I say thank you for my free session. And for me as well, it was such confirmation, because I spoke the last time about the Gateway to Success program. And I spoke about the justice impacted individuals. And that was my last words to them. You are worthy and you are enough. In a world that's constantly telling you you're not, I, along with the division of reentry that I work with, we're here to let you know and to constantly and always remind you. So even if you need to be reminded, come back through, call us, whatever. And if no one else ever tells you, you're worthy and you are enough. And I just think that was so powerful to me for everyone, and that you're not broken. Yes.
I love that. Okay, Maria, what is one thing that stood out to you during our conversation today?
There was so much. However, I liked what you said about the Lego, that last piece, because I know there's, when we think of it, Lego doesn't change being Lego. And that's the aspect that when we think of ourselves, we don't change being us.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that analogy.
It's how my brain works.
Well, and I love that we get to share and grasp insights from each other and have the impact where we see a new way of, or a different way of thinking, perspective. I love that. It's being open and curious.
Yeah.
And accepting. Yeah, I love that.
And to go along with all the analogies, so my brain works in movies, and in order for me to process information, I need to pull references, and then it literally plays it out like a movie in my brain. So during our conversation, I had another insight that put some more puzzle pieces together for me around worthiness and being enough, because that's something that I've been focusing on the last year and a half. And so to find out what that insight was that put the puzzle pieces together for me and actually made them really, really click, go back and watch the interview. So Maria, we have about 60 seconds left. If you have any other comments, any teasers for social media, go right ahead.
Well, I love being on your show, Laura. And I don't know, can I give a shout out? Because I'm going to be having a summit in November, which is carrying love and loss through the holidays. The holidays are really challenging for many people that have lost a loved one or experienced any loss in their lives. The holidays, we see what's missing. We see who's missing.
Yeah.
And these are different tools, and I'll have guest speakers on for 3 days. So it's November 18th to 20th.
Such a timely timely thing. Thank you so much, Maria. I enjoyed you being here. And it's always different every time I talk to you. So I liked that it was over on this side this time. So I so appreciate that. Thank you, Maria. Bye. Okay, so our next guest is behind the scenes. Just give me a thumbs up if you're ready to join us. Awesome. Okay, first off, I have to say I love your necklace. I've been admiring it the whole time backstage. And can you please correct me if I'm wrong? Do you pronounce your name Minh?
That's perfect.
Oh, okay. Phew. Because I tell people, I'm like, I want to pronounce it the way that you want to hear it. So please, please, please correct me.
No, you did a great job with that. Thank you.
I told Dr. Angeline earlier, I was like, please, thank you for correcting. So what I like to do with these interviews is, first off, it's casual. Don't worry, we're just going to have some fun. We're going to be curious and playful. But I like to start off by not hearing any elevator pitches, because and to actually get to know you as a human being, Minh.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
that sounds like fun for me.
Exactly. So here's my big question. If you could have other people describe you in 3 words, what would you love those 3 words to be?
Those, it's not easy to choose, huh?
No. There's no right answer.
It would be strategic.
Okay.
Inspiring. And tenacious.
Ooh, inspiring and tenacious. I'm attempting to spell that properly. Okay. So you said strategic, inspiring, and tenacious. My only other pre-scripted question is, how do these 3 words, again, strategic, inspiring, and tenacious, how do they play a key role in the core message that you have for people?
So I help ambitious women to stop playing small and create a life full of freedom, wealth, and fulfillment without losing themselves in the process. So when I think about strategic, right, I don't think that success happens by accident. It's all by design. And that's what I love doing. Is anything that I do right now, I'm still in corporate, so I lead transformation in the corporate world, and then I also help women with their branding outside of my corporate job. So it's all about strategy, and strategy is about intentionality.
Yes.
Right. You can do the right things, but in the wrong time. So
maybe.
So it's all about having that plan and building it out. and inspiring, I think of my humble beginnings, and I believe that if I can use my story to inspire other people and say, if she can do it, maybe I can too. And when I remember back to when I wanted to write a book, I'm in the process of writing a book, and I struggle with this self-doubt, right? Like, who am I to write a book? But then I challenge myself, well, live a life that's worth writing about. So that's how I live my life, is that I'm going to take an action, something that's hard and challenging, so that I can inspire other people to do the same. And then the last piece is tenacious. That wasn't the word that I used to describe myself. English is my second language. Tenacious sounds too, I don't know, a big word, right? But a lot of people use that word to describe me, tenacity. They said to me that I have a lot of tenacity, and when I looked it up in the dictionary, it just means that you have that resilience and faith to keep going no matter what. So I have that conviction in me that once I have a vision, even if the path isn't clear, I just keep going. This is how it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. So that's the tenacity in me.
So I'm picturing a bloodhound trying to find a rabbit because they will not stop. That sounds really cool. Okay, you mentioned so many things, but you mentioned you were writing a book?
Yes.
What is it called? Do you have a title yet?
I do. A working title.
Okay, working title. Mm-hmm.
It's called Untamed Abundance.
Ooh.
How powerful women create freedom, wealth, and fulfillment without losing themselves in the process.
Oh,
Oh.
fulfillment.
Do you like that, Dr. Ann?
Yes, I want the book. Can I
That's
be the editor?
untamed wealth. Woo! Can you break that down a little bit? I'm liking it, but I'm like, tell me a little bit more about that. What is untamed wealth? I have an idea. You tell me.
because to me, right, like growing up, I didn't have a lot, so money has always been important to me. But the more that I create more success and wealth for myself, at the end of the day, you just want freedom, right? Like, what does money give you is freedom to do whatever the hell you want, whoever you want, where you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's the untamed part of just express yourself in the way that just make you come alive, right? But being who you are actually pays the money. And the other day I was writing a post about cash in on who you are, right? Like, just be you. And the money, if you just follow that inner trust, that confidence, it's gonna come. The money will come. You will find the way. And that's why for me it's untamed. It's like you don't lose yourself in the process, because there's a lot of people who has so much money but so miserable, and that's not the end goal, right?
I wouldn't have believed you last week, but this week I do. And I was like, because I didn't think that energy could be something that people would find valuable just because it comes so naturally to me. Like, this is me all the time, whether I'm on or off the stage. But yet I was listening to a podcast. I'm really bad with names. The guy who interviews all the people, and then the guy who used to be a monk that interviews all the people.
Jay Shetty?
Yes. Okay. Jay Shetty. I told you I'm not good with names. I'm like the sports dude that now interviews all the people. Do you know he does business stuff too? Okay.
No.
Whoever they are, they were talking back and forth about finances because sports dude was writing a book.
Oh,
about
Lewis Howe? Are you
Thank
talking
you.
about? Okay. This is fun. It's like a game to us.
Show.
So I told you, names are not my forte. Faces are. I'm trying. That's why I make sure. So anyway, Lewis and Jay, there we go, are talking about money and how he was interviewing a bunch of the billionaires and millionaires in the world and asking them what was it that got them to that level of financial abundance and freedom. And what he heard that he was not expecting was that it was the people with the personality and the energy that were just so easy to work with and just brought the people no matter what. So they would go and they would find people that worked at a coffee shop and they would see, you love your job. You are so easy to talk to. You're just excited to be here. And they would give them jobs because you can't train that. And so just the back and forth made me realize that, wow, the energy part is highly valuable, and I would always downplay it. So when you say to be yourself, I kept thinking in the past it was about the skills. It was about my doingness. And we just talked with Maria about our beingness, and you're just solidifying that with the beingness.
Absolutely. Because I think you have so much fun. Oh, go ahead, Dr. Angeline.
I was just going to say, because I think that then positions wealth as more than money.
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
And that's the part that when you're doing and being who you love, genuinely, excitingly, unapologetically, all those other things, as you said, will follow. And I believe that when you're in doing and being in those positions, whatever it may be, that's when the money will follow, right? And I think that's what I'm hearing. That's why I was like, can you break down that untamed wealth for me? Because so many people think wealth is money, but it's not.
It's
right?
so much more than that. Because
Yes.
money, just a small piece, is a byproduct.
Come on. I love the word. Yes. Yes. Yes.
I love this. This is so much fun. Like, I'm talking to my girlfriends.
You are.
Okay,
Yes.
so if money is more, if abundance and wealth is more than money, can you give us some more ideas of what that abundance is and how we can maybe identify it where we already are so we can grow it?
Absolutely. And so my Instagram is Joyful Powerhouse, and it's all about joy for me.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
We
I'm
just were
looking up
talking
right
about
now.
joy, man. We just were talking about joy.
Yes. And that's what it is, right? Like, you joyful at heart, Laura. I can see that. Dr. Angeline, right? And that's what we want. We want to be who we are, unapologetically, and just show up joyful, happy. But that doesn't mean that you wait until you make $1 million, $2 million, right? You just start being joyful now. And so many books about happiness talk about that. Like, joy is the baseline. And that's how I do it every day. I like to look a little bit too bling right here, but
Go
I
ahead, girl.
used to dim my light, and save these for special occasion. But now I show up like this every day because why not?
Mhm.
So to me, it's like adding beauty to my daily life, like buying myself flowers. And my husband
Come on.
Tintin can go to Whole Food and get me flowers all the time. I said, no, honey, don't spend like $300. It's okay, go to Whole Food, they do a really good job. You can bring me beautiful flowers, and that can
Yes.
increase the frequency, right? But to me, like, adding a little bit here and there, adding nice perfume around you, like, I just want to live that rich life. And I didn't always have money, right? But I always have that rich life in me. And I think, and that changed your identity, right? Like, I would go and enjoy the luxury coffee. I remember the first time I took my mom to a Viking cruise. I didn't have tons of money back then, but I said, we work so hard all the time. I want to experience that, because that motivates you. Like, that's the life that you want all the time. So I try my best, even when I didn't have money, to add more luxury in my life. And then, it just becomes your reality. So I love doing all of the woo-woo stuff, but of course you have to do the work.
Yes.
A lot of work, but all the mindset is there. You have to work on your mindset.
I want to quote you for a second. You just casually said this wonderful quote that joy is a baseline. Baseline. I was like, what? I'm using that. I'm going to borrow that.
Feel free. Please do. You already have a cup, so it's on brand.
Well, that's why I bought that one. I have a hard time holding cups. And so this cup is huge. Okay. Absolutely huge.
I know.
But then the handle, it can't be in an angle because I can't always grip it very well. And so it has to be straight up so that my hand doesn't get burnt when my hand can't hold. So I bought this one because it's amazing and because it has joy. But then with the joy as a baseline, it made me think of a question. What makes you feel rich based on all the examples that you gave us? So maybe it's a pen that feels good in your hand.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Look at this. Oh, it had to be all colorful. Like,
I got more colors.
Okay, you're my people. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like those little things, right? It doesn't have to be a Rolex or a Range Rover, right? A richness in life can be so simple, and it can be a massage, right? Like, we bought a massage chair just because I'm like, oh, I love getting massages all the time, and I might not have time to go all to the salon all the time. So why not, right? Just little things that you add into your life, and spend time with my family. Like, time rich is huge for me because I have 2 kids. One is 3 and the other one 10 months. And I'm a hustler my whole life, but I do that so that I can have the freedom to be with my family when I need to. And I'm still in corporate because I still love the work I do. And at some point, I'm going to transition out of it once my book is written and all of that, right? But to me, it's like you design your life, your business for where you are right now in your life, like in your season of life, and you define richness now. It doesn't have to be later. You don't have to wait until later. There's always something that you can do. Book a vacation somewhere nice, somewhere beautiful, and look forward to it. Like that's what people say. Sometimes you go on vacation and you have so much happiness, but the anticipation of going on a vacation is huge. So whatever makes me happy, I try to do more of. And I think like life sometimes we overcomplicate, right? We need to have everything. Oh, is this complicated plan? It's actually not. Getting back to the basics of, you want to be happy, do more things that make you happy. It's simple as that. So,
What? Okay, I'm assuming you're an ambitious woman since you help other ambitious women. Was there a time that you fell into the trap of the over hustle, and that's why you're talking about avoiding the overwhelm and actually being fulfilled?
absolutely. There were times where I thought vacation was a waste of money. Like, why would you go on vacation? You spend money, you waste time, you can't work on the things that you need to work on to build more wealth, right? But because, and I had to share with you my background story is that I moved from Vietnam to the US when I was 17. So I didn't have any money, didn't speak the language. So I moved here with my mom, who's a single mom. So security was important to me, safety, security. So I kept hustling. Even to this point, I have 3 jobs, right? Like I teach at college for finance. I work a corporate job. I'm a coach. I run Airbnbs right now. I have rental property. So it's innate in me, right? So I have to be thoughtful about how to like unwind some of that hustling. But it's also something like I treasure is the work ethic is what helped me get here. So yes, to your question, I used to be hustling without the joy, but until I figure out a way to, no, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow. And I've lost so many close people to my life that I'm like, tomorrow's not promised. So I got to enjoy the moment now. And that's when everything unlocked. And the more that I do that, actually, the more I get successful result. And that's where I want to help other people. And I live in the world of bow and, right? You can see in the back of my background here, books and bags. And there are times where I'm like, oh, if you love bags, that means you superficial, right? But you can be both. You don't have to choose between one or the other. You can be both, or you can be ambitious and be a great mom. So that's the world that I encourage everyone around me to live in. You don't have to choose. Yes, you have to prioritize in the moment for the long-term gain. You have to focus, prioritize. But in life, you get everything you want. You can get everything you want. So that's my world.
It's funny you talk about that. I watched a reel online and it just had this hilarious moment to the point where I needed to watch this movie. So I got my husband to find a movie for me and I watched this movie. And that's exactly what it was about. It was about these ambitious women who forgot about their friendships. And when they finally came together, it was about learning to relax, lean into who they were, and just go have some fun. And so the main character, she was a speaker and she was talking about having it all and being perfect, all while her life is crashing and burning and behind the scenes. So like you watch her transition and it just speaks to what you were saying of needing to lean into yourself and find that wealth where it makes you feel rich.
Absolutely. And sometimes in this world, we talk about self-care, and that means go take a bath or a massage, right? But it's not always the case. It's whatever works for you, right? For me, sometimes I need to work a little bit harder, but that is still self-care for me because that goal means so much to me that I'm willing to postpone certain things to get it done. And then I feel all of the joy after. So it doesn't have to be one size fit all that, oh, you gotta always go take a vacation or get a massage to call it self-care. Self-care means caring enough about what important to you at that moment and go for it without explaining to anyone. Like that's what you need, then go do it.
I need you to tell me, because that's what I need. I need you to tell me, was there a moment that made you transition from the hustle culture person to the, I'm trying to use your own words,
Joyful power.
intentionality and the
Intentionality.
joyfulness. Yeah.
I think I've always loved personal development, but it would have to be the breakup, actually. I was in a long-term relationship for 8 years, and that was like my only relationship. And when that happened, I started questioning everything. And before that, I had this whole plan of hustling, creating a lot of money, and I was almost there, right? But then with that breakup, it just made me look back into my life, like, was it all worth it? Like, I just then start having vision boards, starting to designing what a joyful life would look like for me. Because, and you go on dates, and then it's so horrible. Like, you have those like small talk all the time. So I'm like, no, I'm just gonna spend time with me. And that was when, because sometimes when you in relationship, you just invest and you do certain things, but you don't really have those quiet moments. I don't advise that you go through a breakup to go through a transformation because it was painful. But to me, I spend that time looking inward and start having plans, starting get to know me more. So that's when I just like, I'm gonna design the life I want, and whether or not a partner shows up, great. If not, I'm loving this life anyways. So that's where the turning point for me, because to me, like, sometimes love, you can't control it. Like, you can't control other people and who will be your partner, but what you can control is your life and how you feel in it. And that's when I just go all in. This is what the life that I want to live. And now I have a wonderful husband, 2 beautiful kids, my mom in the in-law apartment, so life is good.
Aww.
I think that's where that untamed wealth starts. First within us, right?
Yeah.
And doing the work that we have to do within us first to reach where we're going, right? And I think, and we've been talking about this all day, just doing those self-examinations and seeing what's hindering us, what's holding us back, right? And so when you talk about the work that you do you do it as a coach, as a speaker? Like, do you do it through a professional development series? How do you, yeah.
As a more of one-on-one coaching, because I still have a corporate job, and it's just naturally people would reach out through either social media or just at work, like, hey, you've been promoted 12 times. Like, how did you do that? So it just naturally become a business when people start asking for more advice. It started out as career coaching, because I'm in corporate and a lot of people reach out for that. But then, when I start sharing more about my journey and my story, then a lot of people come for, hey, how do I build wealth for myself? So it just naturally go that way. But what I'm working on right now is my book. And I, with English is my second language, I just feel insecure about the way I speak sometimes. And so the dream of being a speaker is near and dear to my heart. I would love to just go out there on stage and inspire other people to do the same.
May I give you some loving?
I was getting ready to say, you're doing it right now.
Yeah. Everybody in the world has an accent. Everybody in the world doesn't know the language that they speak in and out and inside out, even if that's their profession. And it doesn't matter what we say as much as the nonverbal that goes with it. So how are you helping people understand by showing and being versus just the words? So go be the speaker. Like, we understand you. That's kind of like the baseline. If we can understand you, that's all we need. That's it. Yeah. Everything else is bonus. So go be a speaker. I'm already listening and I'm on the edge of my seat, and I already followed you in the first, 5 minutes.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
You can pull an audience. No worries.
Yeah. And the fact that you're doing coaching and one-on-one, like, please eradicate, like, throw away that thought, the fact that you're successful now and you're doing one-on-one and you got all these promotions, girl, you speaking English pretty well, apparently.
And I know, and that's like the story that I've been working on, right? This is like the next story that's going to be eradicated out of my head. Like, I'm good. The way I communicate, because I communicate with heart. I care about the people that I talk to, and I'm genuine about it. So that works well for me. People normally trust me because I don't BS. You know, just this is who I am on stage or off stage.
Yeah, and it shows up. Just so you know, it shows up. We hear you.
So, babe, let's go back to the writing for a moment. Is this your very first book that you're writing?
Yes.
Were you always a writer, or was it something that was a little uncomfortable when you first started?
I love writing, but I have always like this procrastination because, you know, when something is so important to you, you procrastinate, right? That's just human nature. And going back to that insecurity. So back home when I was in Vietnam, I would win competition with writing. But my mom was a math teacher, and I got taught that, hey, you don't make money writing. You know, like you need to be good at math. You be a lawyer, doctor, right? So I put that side of me kind of away a little bit. But now I integrate that a lot more, because even at work, I use that to create presentation or storytelling with data, things like that. And it's really helping me at work. And now I really enjoy the process of writing, because then you love, you know, telling your story, then building out the framework to teach people, like, how do you condense the time that it took you so that other people can bypass that, maybe do it in a shorter time. So it has been fun for me.
I ask because there's so many people watching either live or on the replay that they want to share their message. They're trying to figure out, well, I'm not really a writer. I'm not good at writing, but I hate speaking and it scares me. So they're trying to find what will work for me. And what I need them to understand is they don't have to do all of it. They can choose different parts and different pieces that work for them. Some of them are going to align really well with who you are. And some of them you're just going to fall into. So you talked about wanting to be a speaker, and you talked about a little of the fear there. If you were offered a speaking gig, let's say next week, would you take it?
Yes, I've been speaking. I already been speaking.
You have been speaking.
Yes. I just go out there and do it, right? And just be authentic. Of course, I spoke at bLU. That is where I went to college, Boston University in Massachusetts. Okay. I spoke, and at work I had to speak. I lead the women's network at work, so even if I'm scared, you know, just gotta go out there and do it. So I think a lot of time it's just I just volunteer. I just say yes before I'm ready, and you know that moment of because sometimes you overthink. So if someone asks me and I trust my gut, it says it's a line, I say yes to it, and then I go do it. Actually, I stood up on stage 3 weeks ago at a conference. And I had to share this story with you about manifestation now that you said that, because no one wanted to speak. So I volunteered. I said, okay, let me share what it is then. So what I teach women is also identity, right? It's part of my 9D powerhouse framework. One of the D is decide. And what I teach people is decide who you are before what you do, right? So for me, I've been sharing this. So when my daughter was born, so she's now 10 months, something just switched in me. And I said, I got to go all in with this, writing a book, speaking. This is like, these dreams have been on my heart for a long time. But when she was born, just like, okay, got to go do it. So I did. I started all this journey, and I said, who is she? Who is Joyful Powerhouse? And this woman is powerful, magnetic, iconic, and making $100 million this is who the Joyful Powerhouse is. So I've been sharing the goal of $100 million. It's not about the money like we've been talking about, but it's who you need to become to make that money.
Yep.
So then my mentors, AJ and Rory Vaden, they have Brand Builders Group. They're the co-founders of that. And then I got in the room, had a private dinner with a lot of like Michael Hyatt. We have Julie Solomon, Amy Porterfield, like a lot of big names in the personal development world. And I was at dinner table and I share with them same journey where I came from and my goal that I'm not making $100 million yet, but that's who I operate from. I invest the way that I'm $100 million earner, and I surround myself with people who see that as a possibility for me, right? And that has helped so much. So with that was like 4 weeks ago. Then 3 weeks ago, we at this conference, and the Queen of Confidence were presenting the concept being confidence means self-trust, and that we all have this like alter ego, right?
Yes.
Even like Beyonce, you know, her alter ego is Sasha Fierce. So like off stage, she might be a little bit more reserved, but on stage, she's like Sasha Fierce. So they asked who want to share their alter ego, and that's what I said. Okay, I'm gonna share, and that is the Joyful Powerhouse who making $100 million. But you know what is so funny? The universe listened, because 2 days later I got an email from Goss Magazine. Do you know Goss Magazine? You might not know, but they reach out and say, hey, we are looking for someone who embody this like vibration match for alpha femme, and then when I look at her Instagram, she's now crossed over $100 million in sales just a couple of days before the email that sent to me. So like all of this is just the universe telling me, hey, this is the right path, Min. Because at the beginning of the year, I said, okay, give me a sign. I want to go all in, and give me a sign if I'm on the right path. And that's the sign I got. And I'm so excited for that future coming in November.
I love that you said that you asked for signs. There was a couple of years where things weren't so fun and easy. So I would ask the universe for 4-leaf clovers. Wow. And the amount of 4-leaf clovers I found are probably in the thousands. And I found hundreds of 5-leaf clovers. This is a 5-leaf. I found like probably 10 6-leaf clovers, 2 7-leaves, and a 9-leaf. So like you're like, wait, what? So the universe is like, yes. And then every time I'd be like, but I need more validation. And even more 4-leaf clovers. I'm glad that you ask.
Yeah, I do. I trust myself, but also I trust the universe. You know, what's that book? The Universe Got Your Back?
Oh,
it does.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
No, that took a little bit of training to realize that it did. And it really was the clovers to help me learn that. Because I'm like, are you actually listening? Show me a 4-leaf clover if you're listening. And then I'd look down and there was a 4-leaf clover. Yes.
And I also love this quote. You know, life is the balance between making it happen and letting it happen, by Ariana Huffington. And that is like, when I heard that, I'm like, that's so true. I spent my whole life hustling, making it happen. I've done the work. Now I'm going to lean in and letting it happen, you know, instead of always forcing it all the time.
Yeah.
So I love that energy as well.
So if you were to let your dream way of sharing your message happen, what might that look like?
Say that one more time. What do you mean?
Okay, so there are many different ways to share a message. The typical 3 is the writing, the speaking, the podcasting. But we've talked about singing and artwork and dancing and like cooking, all kinds of cool things. If you were to think of your dream way to share your message that you haven't done yet, what might that look like? What might that be for you?
Maybe having a show of my own and just sharing story of other people, you know, coming from humble beginnings and where they are today. Like I just love study success and how people get there in their own way. So
you heard that, universe. Min wants a show of her own. Show me all the 4-leaf clovers. Okay, you want to show of your own. I love that. Because then you get to surround yourself with the people that are on the same journey with you in all kinds of different levels. It's great. So, Min, they cut out. Here, try muting yourself and then unmuting again. No, it's all over now. It sounds like we have one of the glasses with water in it and somebody's going on the top of it.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
She's slowly been kind of fading with her mic all day. I wonder if your microphone is dying.
The universe needs to send her a new mic.
Yes, new mic. No. All we hear is a dinging. Okay, so at this point, Min, I do have to ask you, where do we find you and what is your favorite way to communicate?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Minh Pham-Costello, which is my name right here, or on Instagram, Joyful Powerhouse, either way. And then from there, you can get to my website. Pretty simple, minpham-costello.com.
That was so short, sweet, and to the point. I was like expecting more. Okay. Now I'd love to hold space at the end of an interview, just in case there's something on your mind or in your heart that you wanted to share. So what would you love to leave people with today?
I would love for people to really stop shrinking their dreams to match their life and start expanding their life to meet their dreams. And that is my message. Because a lot of time we think that, we have to wait for the condition to be perfect. We need to do this, we need to do that. But why don't you challenge yourself to create a condition within your life to make your dreams have more space to grow? And I'm a dreamer, and I would love to see more dreamers in the world.
Are you a dreamer, Dr. Angeline? Yeah, I figured. I was like, I think you're surrounded by dreamers. Here, I'm going to meet you. Try it now.
Oh, is that any better? Oh, yeah, I don't hear it anymore.
Just a little bit.
Try getting closer just to see. Okay, silly question. Can you tap it for a second? Wherever your microphone is, like. That's okay. So stop shrinking your dreams to match your life. Did you say grow your life to match your dreams?
Yeah, start expanding your life to meet your dreams.
I want to get it down right. Start expanding. That's the word that you used. Your life to match your dreams. That's a beautiful quote.
Thank you.
Do you ever quote yourself?
I do sometime on my Instagram. I just write it and then I put Minh Pham-Costello. Why not?
Yeah, the way that it should be. So you want to try one more time, Dr. Angeline? And then we'll close things up.
Yeah, I was trying to go into something else to see if it would work.
We can hear you a little bit now.
Okay, then let me keep experimenting.
Okay.
But I loved you, Min.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to both of you.
Yes.
Sometimes technology is just so fickle.
I know. We roll with it, you know? That's life.
There have been some horror stories, but I'll just tell you the gist of it before we end the interview. There was one time we started the day and we spent 20 minutes trying to help somebody. And what ended up happening was I took my little ring light over here and I put it beside me and I put my phone in it. And then I video called the person I put my headphones on with one ear on and one ear off, and then I put my little lapel mic in front of the phone. Oh, it was bad, but it worked. So now we're just watching this little tiny face.
That's awesome. Being resourceful.
Exactly. So I'm so glad that you were here. I really do want to be one of your beta readers for your book. So if you would like,
You do?
I do.
What
I
an
think
honor.
you're agreeing. Yeah, Dr. Angeline does too. So we will give you some feedback.
Yes, please.
Yes.
I love that. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And then, of course, we get to talk about it next time. So it's all good. I will call this the official close to the main part of your interview. So thank you so much, Min.
Thank you. Have a
welcome.
lovely day.
No, you get to stick around for like 4 more minutes.
Oh, awesome.
So that's the main part. So we make sure that is timed and edited properly for online TV. But this part, we get to play for social media.
Okay.
And what I like to do with this is I like to create a couple little teasers about your interview. So you can just take the last part of this and go copy, paste, snippet, and then put it up to tease people. So what I like to ask is about one thing that stood out to you. So we're going to try Dr. Angeline. And we're going to try it again. Dr. Angeline, what is the one thing that stood out to you during our conversation with Min today?
All right. Is it working now?
It's working.
Okay. I told y'all, just let me play. I have no clue what I did, but I'm just happy it worked. So I liked Min's quotes. You had some really good. That might be another book too, girl. You might have another something brewing. But I liked the name of the Untamed Wealth. I like that. I think that's gonna it was a great catch for me. It made me stop and think. So yeah, and I just love your energy. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. I do believe in energy. I love yours, right? And I think, I don't know, just full of love, fun. Why not?
Yes.
But thank you for the feedback about the title, because sometimes you don't know if it's hit, but I'm so glad to see your reaction.
Yes.
Oh, that was a full-on Dr. Angeline instead of the weird echoey we've had all day. Whatever you just did, that was perfect.
Okay. I'm not even, you would laugh if I told you what I did.
You're like, I talked to it in my head and say, you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Oh, child. It worked.
Okay. So, Min, what is one thing that stood out to you during our conversation today?
About you too?
Anything at all, wherever you want to go.
I think that being with people who share the same vision with you is just so enjoyable, right? I enjoy this conversation so much because I can see it in your eyes, your body language, that we are on the same frequency. And I'd really love that for the three of us.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Okay, so one of the things, there's so many things that stood out to me. The first one was that you were talking to me right at the very beginning where you're like, hey, ambitious women who are overwhelmed and not doing things intentionally. I was like, oh, I'm feeling really called out. But yet at the same time, I completely identify and I relate about the struggles that you were talking about, how even rest is one of the hardest things for me still to do, even with health issues on top of everything else going on. Like, no. Even when my watch tells me that my body battery is shrinking, I have to be okay letting myself rest. So I love that you were nicely and lovingly from afar telling me, you need to rest, Laura. And like it. Rest it and like it. Yes. The quote of joy being a baseline, that is mind-blowing of itself, because we think of joy as happiness, right? That thing that we're striving toward, when in reality, that's what we really want, is joy as a baseline, not as a forever experience, but as our standard, as our default. And to just think of life through there. I love that. Okay. And then what makes you feel rich? One more thing. Stop shrinking your dreams. This is your quote. To match your life. Start expanding your life to match your dreams. So good. Okay.
That could be an inside quote for your book, both of those.
Yes. Yes, they are. They're the pillar
Yes.
point.
Okay, good. See, that's why we should be reading your book too.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the two of you to give me some feedback.
Yes. And that joy is a baseline, is sending a mental message that when you get there, there's no other place to go but up. I love that. Yes. Forward, upward. Yes. Yeah. And when you talked about the intentionality behind it as well, that's what I heard as well, right? And identity, right?
Oh, yes.
Yes. How you have to start here with self and like wealth, build your way, and all these other things will start to come into fruition. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
So, Min, I will call this the close of your little social media part. But what happens now is Dr. Angeline and I get to end the day, and you are more than welcome to stay for the next 10 minutes. As we do that, we can recap, and you can be involved in that as well. But if you need to go, we will not be offended.
Oh, I love it. I love to be with both of you all the time. So let's do it.
Okay, so Dr. Angeline, what is happening now is we're going to give a little bit of insights into our favorite moments of the day, some of the things that stood out to us, and any patterns that we may have noticed. So what's on your mind? What did you find?
Okay, so I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words down.
Okay.
Today, right? And this was the thread that I saw within all of them. And it was mindset, joy, healing, freedom, and identity. And each speaker just continued to weave that in. And so then my ultimate word, if I had to have like the bubble and all these words in it, right?
Curricular.
I'm going like George now with all the hand motions, right? So
his name's Gary, by the way.
Huh?
His name was Gary, by the way.
Gary, why do I keep calling him George? Okay, Gary. Sorry. I wrote it down too. Sorry. But oh man, what was I gonna say? It would have been now I lost my thought, but I just saw that all of these words talked about turning your trauma into healing, turning your pain into purpose.
Yeah.
And all the ways that life has thrown the negatives at us. Yeah. And how do we take and throw back the positives, right? Push past all of that. How do we wake up every day saying, I am worthy and I am enough? How do we, to me, it just was, I'm telling you, and I started off saying, right, that this week I was just watching the different shows on how the body holds trauma and thinking about my own personal experiences, and then working on debriefing self and dismantling certain aspects of what I've been carrying myself. And how is that hindering me from moving forward? So that was just like the whole theme for me today was like and I usually close sometimes my letters or my emails or something in forward motion, like that's my closing forward motion, right? Dr. Angeline Dean. And so today I just was thinking like this whole day has been about forward motion and starting with your mindset. So yeah, that's what I got from today.
I love that. I'm going to ask you too, Min. Did you find any patterns in conversation today? Was there something that you wanted to just highlight as an insight or something fun?
I wasn't able to join the whole
That's
conversation
okay.
today, but I think to your point, Dr. Angeline, is you really have to just turn your pain into your purpose. Whatever, because I think that's what we're here for, right? You experience something terrible and you make meaning of it, and now you help other people who might experience now, but see that, hey, there's the light, the tunnel, right? And that's how you guide people. And most coaches, that's what we do, right? And I believe in the coaches that have lived experience. You don't just talk about something that you learn from the book, because the way you talk about it is very different when it's your lived experience. And I love that. And I think it's all in the mindset. The mindset, the identity is everything, because everything changed when you just decide this is who I am, and who I am becoming, and allow that space for that. Because sometimes you might not feel like you're enough right now, but your best self, your highest self, has everything that she ever need to make whatever dreams come true. So I resonate that with that a lot.
Yeah, and everything that we need is already in us.
Absolutely.
Right? And one of my friends always says how she's striving to reach the highest iteration of herself. And I'm like, that's powerful right there, right? And I think, Laura, too, today, when the phrase "it's not about us," and even in that pain, how we're processing to turn it into purpose, not only benefits us, but as Min said, it benefits so many other people, right? There's some stories that I could share that's going to reach this audience. Some stories that you're going to share that's going to reach from your pain is going to be always be purposeful. So it's never about us. It's always about helping someone else. And it goes back to centering love.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. Some of the things I noticed was I liked when Gary said nuance to nuance. And I was like, oh, okay, now we're putting our own unique spin on my version of nuance. Nuance itself. That creativity comes to the surface when the physical and emotional finally start to untwist and get uncaught. I guess I'll use that word. Jennifer was talking about suggestions for the nervous system and the financial energy that's there. I was like, ooh, good, because my nervous system is almost always on edge and always overwhelmed. You missed this part earlier, Min, but like, I don't crush on celebrities or fandoms or anything like that. I see them as human beings. So I have my favorite people who just happen to be celebrities and stuff like that. So I described one of the ladies that we interviewed today as my idol. Like, I've adored this woman for a couple decades. She knows this. And they always tell you don't meet your idol, because they're never the same. And I was like, nah, she's still amazing. I still love her. We're still friends. It's all good. So that was beautiful to me, and it made me so happy. Maria, I had insights with Maria that I have been working on because of Heidi and working on because of Masha with around worthiness. And just today, I saw it the last little bit from a different perspective that just helped me click. That my best, my favorite, my whole, whatever you call it, self is always worthy of love from both myself and others, no matter my current expression of her. I know. I was like, oh, I finally get it. So that was good. And then you just telling us that joy needs to be that baseline and figuring out what makes us feel rich today. And the name of your book was amazing. There's just so much. The only thing I'll add to patterns for today was the word release. We talked about release a lot today. So everything that you said, I totally agree with. That's the one thing I'm going to add. Loved it. Go ahead.
And I just thought about the big bubble word. It was wholeness. All of this comes into wholeness, right? And when we talk about holistic, I always say wholeness with a W, but when we talk about holistically, we leave the W off. We usually spell it HOLISTIC. I'm like, no, you got to put the W, because that's where we're trying to achieve, right? That wholeness, that oneness.
Yeah.
And it's in everything that this whole episode all day, it contained all of that. That was the word I was trying to get to. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So now I'm going to wrap up by just explaining a little bit about what's happening. And then I like to chat at least for a couple minutes after the show is over, because our day does this. And so I want to check in. But I'm going to end the day this way. This has been day 5. Day 5. We did this for 5 days of Blue Talks Amplify Your Message, where we are live for 4 hours straight, interviewing 5 amazing change makers just like you and I, who are speakers, authors, podcasters. They are there trying to share their message and amplify your message. So if you are watching and you are trying to share your message and amplify your message, I encourage you to be a part of bLU, which stands for Business, Life, and the Universe. But also, we're hosting the Experts Bootcamp next weekend. This October 17th, 18th, and 19th, where we're going to be teaching you tools for getting your first paid speaking gig. We're going to be talking about how to land a TEDx talk. We have celebrity guests. We have author guests who are going to help you learn how to get your book published. And since it's always about the community, we have some coaches and people in the Blue Talks community who are going to help you no matter where you are on your journey. Because we're all, just like you were saying, we're all very heart-centered. We've all got that energy. We love what we do. We bring the passion. And so this is a free 3-day weekend boot camp to help you get started, because that's what it's about. Don't hold it inside of you. I can't tell you the amount of friends who have passed and left this world, even in the Blue Talks community, who've left us lately. I just need people to know that they need to start. They need to start now. It does not need to be clean and pretty. You help people by just getting started. So I'm going to end that little spiel there. I love you all so much. Thank you to every single guest that was here today. Thank you to those who watched live and on the replay, and of course on online TV. We will see you for the next event in December. But this has been a wonderful week. Thank you to my co-host, Dr. Angeline, as well. So to everyone, much love, and I will see you soon. Because I'm emceeing the boot camp, so you get to see more of me.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna click the end stream, and I will see you in the backstage. So bye, everyone.